Okay, I'm done.
Because the stream has just started.
Oh, good.
Hello,
Now it started.
welcome to
I'll
the
restart. Oh, I get so emotional, baby. Every time I think of you. BB King, ladies and gentlemen. Give me your applause.
All right.
I went with
I
Whitney
clap.
Houston.
I clap in the inside.
Yay,
You
Simon.
got the clap on the inside, you poor bastard. I didn't know you swang that way.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to
You've
the
been knowing I swing that way.
Ancapistani Lounge.
Woo.
We're going to do something that's different. I got a book that I want to start reading tonight called The Fifth Wave.
It is a fact. Ancaps can't read.
We only pretend.
I'm quite very well read. Thank you very much.
She's just pretending.
That sounds kind of naughty there, Marianne.
She's just pretending.
Yes,
no, I'm not pretending.
Yes, she is.
You're really that red? Damn, you must be a library book.
Reading violates the NAT because words don't give you consent to read them.
Exactly. That's pure logic right there.
And here's the thing about that. That means the librarian has the right to shoot you down.
Oh, yes, definitely. You check out a book, you are now in rightful authority to be shot in the face.
Yeah, that's because she's coming to the defense of the book.
Yep.
Murray Rothbard himself will come out from the grave and laugh at you as you're getting shot at.
Yeah, he'll protect those books too. He's very protective.
Mm-hmm. He loves his books.
Oh, he loves
especially the ones he made.
Books.
Well, I got a lot of books too.
He can't read though. He can write books, but he can't read.
I always have too much.
Bibliophile.
What book are we reading?
This is titled The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. So I'm going to do like a camera. You might see my face. I want to show this book.
The Fifth Wave Feminism?
No.
Oh, dear God. I know I made that comment earlier. That sounds so terrifying. Frau.
It just skips over the fourth wave. Goes straight to
yeah.
Men are now slaves.
Just like World War V will happen.
No, we're dealing with fifth wave right now. Or fourth wave right now. Fifth wave is Sieg Frau.
I've seen that.
Sieg Frau.
See, I knew there was a movie.
This is it. And this is how thick it is.
Isn't that the very confusing book with like aliens and shit in it?
Yeah, it's got aliens in it. And, well, it's like, they're aliens, but they're not. They don't really have like a physical body or anything, but I don't really want to give anything away. But the reason why I want to read this book is because it's something that happens later on in the plot, and which is something I can sort of imagine the state wanting to do. Something real nasty.
Right.
Yeah, it's the book. It seems like it's all an analogy to anti-authoritism.
Probably.
Hey guys, she's trying to read a book about fifth wave feminism. Don't you realize that we're mansplaining? Let the woman talk.
I apologize. I forgot.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to get aggressive. Please don't hurt me.
Please. I knew.
Don't be the toxic male, Malum.
Fifth wave will bring slavery of men.
You know that. Come on now.
Oh my God.
Well, before we start the book, or start anything, I want to make an announcement on behalf of McDonald's. The McMarines are now serving you at your nearest McDonald's. So whenever you walk up, the first thing you're going to hear is, "Good evening, ma'am. May I take your order, ma'am? Aye, ma'am."
My God.
Well, down here at Burger King Co., we like to have it your way, so you are forced to kill the cow and then skin it alive, and then you make your own food here.
At a very low cost, though.
You can't leave. You're stuck here.
You're stuck here.
You're stuck.
Oh, so actual peasantry. I got it. You're an actual serfdom.
The moment you step into a Burger King, you are now under the leadership of the king of burgers.
The king of burgers.
Nice.
Yes.
That's why I prefer McDonald's.
That reminds me of a book by F.C. Hayek. I just didn't realize that the road to serfdom was literally Burger King at the end of it.
Yeah.
God damn
Come
it.
on.
Why do you
No, wait, no, that's the road. The road to the road to serfdom is the driveway that circles.
Hello.
Sorry, we're like literally taking up airtime.
All right,
Mary.
Chloe's here.
Let's get the reading.
Time.
Finally,
Just in time.
Siegfrau.
Siegfrau.
I really want to say that to a feminist face. Siegfrau.
They probably salute back.
Oh, shit.
You know it. It'll be the bitch hand up in the air, getting ready to slap. Starts off as a Nazi salute. The Nazi salute.
Oh, man.
All right. You all comfy now? You all got your blankets and your snacks and everything? Start reading?
Oh shit. Just about. Shit. Is it showing?
No.
God damn
Oh,
it.
now it is. What are you showing now?
What is that?
Stop hammered time.
Is that a hammer?
Nope. Bottle of Crown Royal.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
alcoholic beverage.
I found it.
Don't.
Got
Oh,
so
God,
hammered I
no.
lost it. MC
Now we're gonna
hammered
have like
time.
watching water
Oh, God.
things again.
I'm gonna be
Come
washing
on.
water. I'm not gonna drink. Dear God, did I actually say I'm gonna wash some water or something like
Yes.
that? God damn.
Yes, off stream, he did say. Melon did
God
say
damn it.
he was gonna wash water.
When he was drunk as fuck.
It's a great
Once a-
idea.
God
Okay.
damn it.
Apparently, he works for the government.
All
now.
right.
Welcome aboard, fat ass. Oh wait, sorry, just fat. My
Oh,
apologies.
Gabe is here.
That was a little rude.
Why are you fat?
Well, don't you know I'm the physical reincarnation of toxic masculinity. So
Yeah.
In other words, you're a living, breathing dickhead.
pretty much yes. So I do not recognize your consent. I'm going in.
All right.
Back door seems to be the only option here.
All right, come on, guys.
I see a hangout link. I click a hangout link. I don't ask for consent. I just do
Hey,
it.
Fat, have you heard of the fifth wave? It's fifth wave feminism.
No.
Yeah.
Siegfrau.
You skip the fourth
Yeah,
wave
yeah,
and you go
It's
straight to
a
the fifth
science
one.
fiction dystopian novel.
It's
And
about
You
the
sure about
slavery
that,
of man.
Marianne?
Right now.
Just so everyone
Look-
knows, everyone knows, my name is Gabe. Just so that way I know you're calling me by my username, but that way I'm not feeling as if I'm constantly being insulted.
Hold on. Give me a second. I believe in the immortal words of Weird Al Yankovic. Your butt is wide. Well, mine is too. Just
Oh,
watch your mouth, or I'll sit on you. The word is out. Better treat me right, cause I'm the king of cellulite.
Okay, if you continue to sing, I'm leaving this hangout.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. I can't sing when I'm laughing my ass off.
Come on.
I'm
Let's
fat.
get the reading.
I'm fat.
All right.
Really, really fat.
Wait, we're literate?
Let's get the listening.
Okay, there we go.
I'm
Audiobooks. I love
now.
audiobooks.
I'm on the prologue page right now. So,
All right, let's listen.
all right, here.
So we're listening to feminist literature.
No.
No, wait.
It's just the fifth wave.
Said it once. I'll say it again. It's science fiction dystopian novel, and feminism is not in it. So,
Okay, thank
In
That's
you.
a
other
good
words,
thing.
in other words, they don't recognize it as feminism anymore. But the women
immediately
still
has-
conquered the world.
Okay.
It's
It's
just
immediately.
oneism.
I
It's
don't know.
immediately gained.
I'll
two
shut up.
stars.
I'll shut up. Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's get the reading. R.I.P. Stanley. Let's go.
Okay. Intrusion, 1995. There will be no awakening. The sleeping woman will feel nothing the next morning, only a vague sense of unease, and the unshakable feeling that someone is watching her. Her anxiety will fade in less than a day and will soon be forgotten. The memory of the dream will linger a little longer. In her dream, a large owl perches outside the window, staring at her through the glass with huge white-rimmed eyes. She will not awaken. Neither will her husband beside her. The shadow falling over them will not disturb their sleep. And what the shadow has come for, the baby within the sleeping woman, will feel nothing. The intrusion breaks no skin, violates not a single cell of her or the baby's body. It is over in less than a minute. The shadow withdraws. Now it is only the man, the woman, the baby inside her, and the intruder inside the baby, sleeping. The woman and man will awaken in the morning, the baby a few months later when he is born. The intruder inside him will sleep on and not wake for several years, when the unease of the child's mother and the memory of that dream have long since faded. 5 years later, at a visit to the zoo with her child, the woman will see an owl identical to the one in the dream. Seeing the owl is unsettling for reasons she cannot understand. She is not the first to dream of owls in the dark. She will not be the last. And reading onto the first part, The Last Historian. Chapter 1. By the way, these chapters are short, so it turns out that I might end up reading more than 3 chapters.
Mm.
Okay,
do it.
sorry for the intrusion there. So, right. Continuing on. Aliens are stupid. I'm not talking about real aliens. The others aren't stupid. The others are so far ahead of us. It's like comparing the dumbest human to the smartest dog. No contest. No, I'm talking about the aliens inside our own heads. The ones we made up, the ones we've been making up since we realized those glittering lights in the sky were suns like ours, and probably had planets like ours spinning around them. You know, the aliens we imagine, the kind of aliens we'd like to attack us. Human aliens. You've seen them a million times. They swoop down from the sky in their flying saucers to level New York and Tokyo and London, or they march across the countryside in the huge machines that look like mechanical spiders, ray guns blasting away, and always, humanity sets aside its differences and bands together to defeat the alien horde. David slays Goliath, and everybody except Goliath goes home happy. What crap. It's like a cockroach working up a plan to defeat the shoe on its way down to crush it. There's no way to know for sure, but I bet the others knew about the human aliens we'd imagined, and I bet they thought it was funny as hell. They must have laughed their asses off. If they have a sense of humor, or asses, they must have laughed the way we laugh when a dog does something totally cute and dorky. Oh, those cute, dorky humans. They think we think like they do. Isn't that adorable? Forget about flying saucers and little green men and giant mechanical spiders spitting out death rays. Forget about epic battles with tanks and fighter jets and the final victory of us scrappy, unbroken, intrepid humans over the bug-eyed swarm. That's about as far from the truth as their dying planet was from our living room. The truth is, once they found us, we were toast. Moving on to chapter 2. Sometimes I think I might be the last human on Earth, which means I'm the last human in the universe. I know that's dumb. They can't have killed everyone. Yet. I see how it could happen, though, eventually. And then I think that's exactly what the others want me to see. Remember the dinosaurs? Well, so I'm probably not the last human on Earth, but I'm one of the last. Totally alone and likely to stay that way until the 4th wave rolls over me and carries me down. That's one of my night thoughts, you know, the 3 in the morning, oh my god, I'm screwed thoughts. When I curl into a little ball, so scared I can't close my eyes, drowning in fear, so intense I have to remind myself to breathe. Will my heart to keep beating. When my brain checks out and begins to skip like a scratch CD, alone, 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 Cassie, you're alone. That's my name, Cassie. Not Cassie for Cassandra or Cassie for Cassidy. Cassie for Cassiopeia, the constellation, the queen tied to her chair in the northern sky, who was beautiful but vain, placed in the heavens by the sea god Poseidon as a punishment for her boasting. In Greek, her name means she whose words excel. My parents didn't know the first thing about that myth. They just thought the name was pretty. Even when there were people around to call me anything, no one ever called me Cassiopeia. Just my father, and only when he was teasing me, and always in a very bad Italian accent. Cassiopeia! It drove me crazy. I didn't think he was funny or cute. It made me hate my own name. I'm Cassie, I'd holler at him. Just Cassie. Now I'd give anything to hear him say it just one more time. When I was turning 12, 4 years before the arrival, my father gave me a telescope for my birthday. On a crisp, clear fall evening, he set it up in the backyard and showed me the constellation. See how it looks like a W? He asked. Why did they name it Cassiopeia if it's shaped like a W? I replied. W for what? Well, I don't know that it's for anything, he answered with a smile. Mom always told him it was his best feature, so he trotted it out a lot, especially after he started going bald. You know, to drag the other person's eyes downward. So it's for anything you like. How about wonderful, or winsome, or wise? He dropped his hand on my shoulder as I squinted through the lens at the 5 stars burning over 50 light years from the spot on which we stood. I could feel my father's breath against my cheek, warm and moist in the cool, dry autumn air. His breath so close, the stars of Cassiopeia so far away. The stars seem a lot closer now, closer than the 300 trillion miles that separate us. Close enough to touch, for me to touch them, for them to touch me. They're as close to me as his breath had been. That sounds crazy. Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? You can only call someone crazy if there's someone else who's normal, like good and evil. If everything was good, then nothing would be good. Whoa, that sounds, well, crazy. Crazy, the new normal. I guess I could call myself crazy, since there is one other person I can compare myself to. Me. Not the me I am now, shivering in a tent deep in the woods, too afraid to even poke her head from the sleeping bag. Not this Cassie. I'm talking about the Cassie I was before the arrival, before the others parked their alien butts in high orbit. The 12-year-old me, whose biggest problems were the spray of tiny freckles on her nose and the curly hair she couldn't do anything with, and the cute boy who saw her every day and had no clue she existed. The Cassie who was coming to terms with the painful fact that she was just okay. Okay in looks, okay in school, okay at sports like karate and soccer. Basically, the only unique things about her were the weird name, Cassie for Cassiopeia, which nobody knew about anyway, and her ability to touch her nose with the tip of her tongue, a skill that quickly lost its impressiveness by the time she hit middle school. I'm probably crazy by that Cassie's standards. And she sure is crazy by mine. I scream at her sometimes, that 12-year-old Cassie moping over her hair or her weird name or it being just okay. What are you doing? I yell. Don't you know what's coming? But that isn't fair. The fact is she didn't know, had no way of knowing, and that was her blessing and why I miss her so much. More than anyone, if I'm being honest. When I cry, when I let myself cry, that's who I cry for. I don't cry for myself. I cry for the Cassie that's gone. And I wonder what that Cassie would think of me. The Cassie who kills.
Sorry.
What?
I was making a cry joke.
No.
That sounds niggerish, dude.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh my god. I've had so much to drink. Oh my god.
Copycat. I'm sober already. Well, mostly sober already.
What do you think of?
I'm no copycat. You're just a nigger.
What was that now, Marianne?
What do you think of the beginning so far? Like the very introduction.
Pretty interesting, actually.
Had a good introduction, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely kept me interested.
Yeah. What do you think the shadow is?
Probably
The shadow kind of sounded like a little more invasion of the typical pedophile. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be the booze still talking, but that sounded more pet. When I was listening to that, like I had to keep that mic off, that mute on, just to keep me from commenting for something retarded like that.
Oh my god, dude! I'm scared.
God.
I'm scared now.
Hey, Gabe.
It represents the foreshadowing of a shadow.
Did somebody
The
say my name?
Foreshadowing of a shadow.
I'm scared.
No, you got the first part. You got the first half of that right. It represents the foreshadowing of basically the aliens taking over the population, or rather, the minds of the population.
Yep.
Specifically targeting the children. And Marianne, basically as an ANCAP, that sounds more or less like the foreshadowing of the Prussian school model.
Yeah.
So, that really does, actually.
Yeah, yep. Where you go after the kids, hey, the government and the state are your friends. Remember that.
Hey, little kids, want some candy?
Hey, little kid.
Come to my school.
It's more important than the parents. Listen to the state, not your parents.
Exactly.
Whoa. So you're telling me when a cop told me to put my hands up or he's gonna shoot me in the face, he wasn't the good guy?
Wow, I thought he was a good guy.
I thought when he said
that's what my teachers taught me. That cops are good guys, even when they kill you. They're there to help you, to help you into the afterlife.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah. Hey, when we went over into the Middle East and killed all those civilians, they should have just, I don't know, stopped
being civilians.
Yeah,
stop being civilians.
They should just become
tourists. Become tourists.
Yeah, just become the tourist. Like, I mean, it's not our fault that we killed some people.
We did it for our freedom. We had to spread our freedom. We had to show them we were free.
See, I have to ask you something. I know this is old meme, but how the fuck did our freedom get over there?
I have no clue. I'm still wondering that. I asked that like when I was in 8th grade.
And went by those robots called drones, dude.
Oh yeah, we airdropped them in. We said, "Hey, catch," and we said, "Give them back," and they never gave them back. So we went to go take them back.
Yeah,
I went by those drones, dude. Those drones dropping our freedoms down, man. Like a TV got a missile.
And you let your friend borrow one of your games, and you said, "Okay, give it back in a week," and they would give it back in a week, but sometimes they didn't. So you had to go take it back, and that's what we're doing.
That's
we're taking it back with M4s and M16A4 service rifles. Yep.
Instead of like politely asking, "Hey, we want this back," it's like, "No, we're going to murder you for it."
And attention, all ANCOMs. We just want to make sure you understand how we plan on taking over the rest of the world. See, we're gonna start off by getting McDonald's everywhere around the world. We've already succeeded for the most part, and then we're gonna fill those McDonald's with McMarines, and we're succeeding at that when all of a sudden it's, "Man, take your order, sir!"
Okay, before we
and how we're gonna fight fascism is with the McMarines.
Hold on. Do we already have Coca-Cola Death Squads as well?
Yeah, but see, that's down in South America, but they don't really matter.
Banana war? Oh my goodness. We killed a group of people over bananas. We can still do it.
Hey, if you think, listen, you think that's hardcore shit? You should try when we had the guano wars.
Guano
over the island,
or the now
over the islands
cartels.
Yeah, over the Guano Wars. We fought over bird shit. We went to war over bird shit. Like, yep, this is gonna make us powerful.
Hey, come on now.
Are those islands now free?
No, they're not. They're still territory.
All right. Well, I guess more people got to die. Is Japan still? Are they still crazy?
That's a
Hey,
that's
hey,
a
who remembers
And-
Bikini Atoll? Bikini Atoll.
No, I
No.
don't.
Oh,
I
so
remember
basically the swimwear that some French guy made called the Bikini was named after an island. And so the reason they named it after the island is because they were scheduled to drop a fucking nuke on the island to test it out.
Christ.
Well, anyway, so they evacuated the people, the natives of that island. They evacuated them. Years after, the fruit is still fucking rotten and it's too dangerous to have people live there anymore. They can't even feed themselves because the plants produce rotting fruit.
And we're all taught that the U.S. government was the greatest government through the Cold War, and we did nothing wrong, and we're good guys. The communists are the bad guys. Well, they are bad guys, but we were just better.
We were perfect. We were little angels. We were little angels.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're little angels.
We're angels in our peaceful ways. We were just trying to get the communists to get along and play in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Yep, we just needed to use it. We just needed to use spears and swords.
You know when you were playing superheroes and your friend was like, "I have a force field. You can't kill me," and you were like, "That's not fair."
Little child in the corner singing, "Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?"
You just killed a bunch of Asians. And-
All right. How about a few more chapters?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
This is all like a reflection. It seems. I feel
Get
this
out the shotgun.
a reflection of something the U.S. did. I'd probably say the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Hey,
out
Corey,
the shotgun. Get out the shotgun.
Can I make one statement?
Go ahead.
So niggerish.
Oh my.
Okay.
Okay, come
First,
on now.
I'm gonna politely ask if you can please stop using that.
Yeah. Calm it
Stop
down.
using what?
The N word, my G. Don't call me a nigger.
Nigger.
Revan.
Come on, Dark. Come on,
Okay.
Revan, knock it off for
I'm
now.
out.
Revan, knock
That's
it
right,
off.
that's
Fat
right.
her.
Malik is better than Levin.
see, look.
What the hell is
God damn it.
happening?
Oh man.
I leave,
Time warp through time.
I leave for 2 seconds to get more snacks and this shit happens.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna get something to drink.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I can wait.
You don't have to wait. I'm just getting some drink.
All right.
Through time. That's what happened. How you do? This is the way of.
Hey, Corey, can you do me a favor? And I don't remember his actual name. I suck with names.
Gabe.
Gabe. Yeah. Shit. Can't catch this damn fish. Ah, fuck me.
Are you playing Minecraft?
No, I'm playing
It-
Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley.
Are you playing any game but that?
Stardew Valley.
I hate Stardew Valley, man.
No.
I hate it
Why?
because I don't know. I played it like one time. It was the worst thing I've ever played.
Excuse me. Yeah, the controls are kind of a pain in the ass at first, but you get used to them.
I bet it's a good game. It's just it wasn't the game for me.
That's probably it's a good game, but yeah, I guess it's not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stardew Valley's not for everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of grinding in it.
Yep. Then I haven't done any grinding games since I was like
Technically, it
Like-
is. So.
Terraria.
Okay, what the hell happened?
So Shadow was casted
Hangouts
over
has stopped.
your username, and you
Yeah,
were
Cassie for Cassiopeia. This is in her point of view in the first part, and it continues on in chapter 3. All right. He couldn't have been much older than me, 18, maybe 19, but hell, he could have been 719 for all I know.
There we. Okay, I swear to God, it better not knock me off again. Okay, you guys still there? It looks like
Yeah.
I'm fucking A.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just not going to press anything. It keeps sending me. Unfortunately, Hangouts has stopped.
I can still
I
hear
don't
you.
think Hangouts like me. Yeah, I know. That's because I'm not doing shit with Hangouts button. I just can't see what's going on or anything. So if you can bring back the guy whose profile name is Fat,
Yeah, I got
that'd be
you.
appreciated. Alrighty. And Revan, I swear to God, you better apologize to him this time. You really pissed him off.
Yeah.
I don't know if Revan's still on, so I can't see shit because unfortunately Hangouts has stopped.
Man's is
Is
muted.
So
Yeah.
if you want to message him to come back, or
Yep. Whereas if I try anything, it's just gonna shut off. So
Yeah, dude.
just
He
messaged him.
wasn't saying that to be insensitive. He's just a goofball.
yeah, I know.
Oh
know,
no, I'm not offended.
Again, I'm not apologizing to a social justice warrior.
I don't think he's a
Gabe is not
social
a
justice
social
warrior.
No, he's
Well,
just getting annoyed
he's
by it.
offended over news. If he gets offended over something that small, then he's a social justice warrior. That's all there is to
Oh
it.
God.
Let's not do this, bro.
No, let's not fight.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's a good idea to bring Gabe back here if everyone's going to be like that.
Well,
Yeah,
then if
good
he's
point.
going to be a pussy about it, then let him be a pussy about it.
That sounds very Richard Spencer of you.
I know.
I
right?
know I'm Richard Spencer, dude. I even have the smugness of him.
All right.
Anyway, moving on. Let's get back to before we destroy. This is Marianne's thing, so let's at least let her finish.
All right.
Yep.
All right. I'll just start from the beginning of chapter 3 again.
Sounds cool.
All right.
And I'll start drinking.
No.
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'll start
I
drinking.
brought snacks.
All right.
Here, Malum, listen. These people some people in this chat have a hard time with jokes.
Please don't start.
Please don't.
Yeah, just start reading. Just start reading.
All right.
Everybody shut up. Marianne reads.
All right. Yes, please. Okay. You're doxing yourself. Watch out.
Who's doxing who?
Golden.
Ah,
He's got his camera on.
Golden, don't dox yourself. We need you. How else am I going to get my French fries from the McMarines?
Okay.
Oh, fuck. We're,
No.
This
somebody
audiobook
check
is
their mic.
spiraling
I'm
out
getting
of
echoes.
control. This audiobook is spiraling out of control. Shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not letting him in.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna shut off my phone and reset.
Okay.
So just continue without me, and I'll be back in. Oh
Okay.
God, I hate my own voice. I sound like
Can
you,
you hear
Revan.
me?
No.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not pressing
Who
the.
is echoing?
Probably me.
Gotta fix
Sorry,
that.
fix that. It's horrible.
Technical difficulties. Everyone stand by, please.
Hey, boop.
It says unfortunately, Hangouts has stopped. I'm not pressing OK. Then it'll kick me out.
be
Oh my God. Google is closing it.
Just started reading
Hello.
the fifth edition novel, which is a dystopian novel. Anyone just tuning in right now? It just starts with a foreshadowing of the first of this silent alien invasion. And Pauline talked about a shadow within a shadow.
Someone's really echoing here.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
tell.
no, it's annoying.
Could be me.
Someone stop the echoing. This must cease the faggotry. We must cease faggotry. We must straighten the
Please
queer.
echoing.
Why is it growling? Someone is
Is
growling.
it gone?
I think so. Yeah, it's gone now.
All right, so Jaguar, It was like this intruding silent shadow that sort of went through this pregnant woman into her womb into a body of a baby. And the intruding shadow withdraws. And there was like this disturbing dream that the woman had of an owl. And 5 years later, at a zoo, she sees the owl that she saw in her dream, and it's unsettling to her for reasons she can't understand. And then it goes to this young lady named Cassie for Cassiopeia, and she was reflecting on her younger self and why her name is weird at times. Her name is like the way it is, and how she misses her old self, and that she sees her current self as crazy, and her younger self would think her as crazy. And she sometimes cries for the Cassie part of her that's gone, and she wonders what her younger past Cassie would think of her, the Cassie who kills. And it's going into chapter 3 right now. That's a summary of how things are. He couldn't have been much older than me. 18, maybe 19. But hell, he could have been 719 for all I know. 5 months into it, and I'm still not sure if the fourth wave is human or some kind of hybrid, or even the others themselves. Though I don't like to think that the others look just like us, and talk just like us, and bleed just like us. I like to think of the others as being, well, other. I was on my weekly foray for water. There's a stream not far from my campsite, but I'm worried it might be contaminated, either from chemicals or sewage, or maybe a body or two upstream, or poisoned. Depriving us of clean water would be an excellent way to wipe us out quickly. So once a week, I shoulder my trusty M16 and hike out of the forest to the interstate. 2 miles south, just off exit 175, there are a couple of gas stations with convenience stores attached. I load up as much bottled water as I can carry, which isn't a lot because water is heavy, and get back to the highway and the relative safety of the trees as quickly as I can before night falls completely. Dusk is the best time to travel. I've never seen a drone at dusk. 3 or 4 during the day, and a lot more at night, but never at dusk. From the moment I slipped through the gas station's shattered front door, I knew something was different. I didn't see anything different, but the store looked exactly like it had been a week earlier. The same graffiti scrawled walls, overturned shelves, floor strewn with empty boxes and caked-in rat feces, and the busted open cash registers and looted beer coolers. It was the same disgusting, stinking mess I've waded through every week for the past month to get to the storage area behind the refrigerated display cases. Why people grab the beer and soda, the cash from the registers and safe, the rolls of lottery tickets, but left the 2 pallets of drinking water was beyond me. What were they thinking? It's an alien apocalypse! It's an alien apocalypse! Quick, grab the beer! The same disaster of spoilage, the same stench of rats and rotten food, the same fitful swirl of dust in the murky light pushing through the smudged windows, out of every out-of-place thing in its place, undisturbed. Still, something was different. I was standing in the little pool of broken glass just inside the doorway. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I didn't smell or feel it, but I knew it. Something was different. It's been a long time since humans were prey animals, 100,000 years or so, but buried deep in our genes, the memory remains. The awareness of the gazelle, the instinct of the antelope. The wind whispers through the grass, a shadow flits between the trees, and up speaks a little voice that goes, "Shh, it's close now." Close. I don't remember swinging the M16 up from my shoulder. One minute it was hanging behind my back, the next it was in my hands, muzzle down, safety off. Close. I'd never fired at anything bigger than a rabbit, and that was a kind of experiment to see if I could actually use the thing without blowing off one of my own body parts. Once I shot over the heads of a pack of feral dogs that had gotten a little too interested in my campsite. Another time, nearly straight up, sighting the tiny glowering speck of greenish light that was their mothership, sliding silently across the backdrop of the Milky Way. Okay, I admit that was stupid. I might as well have erected a billboard with a big arrow pointing at my head and the words, "Yoo-hoo, here I am." After the rabbit experiment, it blew that poor damn bunny apart, turning Peter into this unrecognizable mass of shredded guts and bone. I gave up the idea of using the rifle to hunt. I didn't even do target practice. In the silence that had slammed down after the fourth wave struck, the report of the rounds sounded louder than an atomic blast. Still, I considered the M16 my bestest of besties, always by my side, even at night, burrowed into my sleeping bag with me. Faithful and true. In the fourth wave, you can't trust that people are still people, but you can trust that your gun is still your gun. Shh. Cassie, it's close. Close. I should have bailed. That little voice had my back. That little voice is older than I am. It's older than the oldest person who ever lived. I should have listened to that voice. Instead, I listened to the silence of the abandoned store. Listened hard. Something was close. I took a tiny step away from the door, and the broken glass crunched ever so softly under my foot. And then the something made a noise, somewhere between a cough and a moan. It came from the back room, behind the coolers where my water was. That's the moment when I didn't need a little old voice to tell me what to do. It was obvious, a no-brainer. Run. But I didn't run. The first rule of surviving the fourth wave is don't trust anyone. It doesn't matter what they look like. The others are very smart about that. Okay, they're smart about everything. It doesn't matter if they look the right way and say the right things and act exactly like you expect them to act. Didn't my father's death prove that? Even if the stranger is a little old lady sweeter than your great Aunt Tilly hugging a helpless kitten, you can't know for certain. You can never know that she isn't one of them, that there isn't a loaded 45 behind that kitten. It isn't unthinkable. And the more you think about it, the more thinkable it becomes. Little old lady has to go. That's the hard part. The part that, if I thought about it too much, it would make me crawl into my sleeping bag, zip myself up, and die of slow starvation. If you can't trust anyone, then you can trust no one. Better to take the chance that Aunt Tilly is one of them than play the odds that you stumbled across a fellow survivor. That's friggin' diabolical. It tears us apart. It makes us that much easier to hunt down and eradicate. The fourth wave forces us into solitude, where there is no strength in numbers, where we slowly go crazy from the isolation and fear and terrible anticipation of the inevitable. So I didn't run. I couldn't. Whether it was one of them or an Aunt Tilly, I had to defend my turf. The only way to stay alive is to stay alone. That's rule number 2. I followed the sobbing coughs, or coughing sobs, or whatever you want to call them, till I reached the door that opened to the back room, hardly breathing on the balls of my feet. The door was ajar, the space just wide enough for me to slip through sideways. A metal rack on the wall directly in front of me, and to the right, a long, narrow hallway that ran the length of the coolers. There were no windows back there. The only light was the sickly orange of the dying day behind me, still bright enough to hurl my shadow into the onto the sticky floor. I crouched down. My shadow crouched with me. I couldn't see around the edge of the cooler into the hall, but I could hear whoever or whatever it was at the far end, coughing, moaning, and that gurgling sob. Either hurt badly or acting hurt badly, I thought. Either needs help or it's a trap. This is what life on Earth has become since the arrival. It's an either-or world. Either it's one of them and it knows you're here, or it's not one of them and he needs your help. Either way, I had to get up and turn that corner. So I got up and I turned that corner. Chapter 4.
Before you go on, can I interject?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, this sounds a lot like the SJW bullshit that we're dealing with now. Smart NPC or the NPC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what really creeps me out is this sounds exactly
Out there, buddy.
Well, before he was rudely kicked out by his internet connection, I would like to add on to what he was saying. Yeah, it does sound like the SJW stuff we're dealing with now. Like this book.
This thing is a pain in the ass. I don't know
Sounds
what the hell's going on, but it keeps kicking me out.
Yeah, I was gonna finish for you. You know, I got what you were saying. We were on the same wavelength. You know, you feel me?
Yuri Bezmenov.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I was saying, it sounds like it's also making hints at the statement from Yuri Bezmenov.
I don't know who that is.
Yuri Bezmenov is a former communist KGB agent whose job was specifically to undermine the U.S. under something called moral. Crap, I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, either way, in the 1970s, there's the guy basically stated what he had already done and what the outcome is going to be, and basically everything we see now is something he predicted in the 1970s, something that was started in the Frankfurt School of Thought before even the Nazis came into power.
Jeez.
Yeah. So everything we're suffering now has been planned. So, and it starts with the Frankfurt School of Thought, which basically cultural Marxism is what that is.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of. It sounds like this whole era of thought that we live in is very well planned out.
Thought.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Corey, when you get a chance, look Yuri Bezmenov, YURI BEZMENOV, something like that.
I got him.
It's about an hour and a half long interview, but basically that whole interview is going to rock your fucking world. He's going to describe everything we're going through now, everything that's happened before or after his time before ours. It's going to fuck with you, man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he nails everything on the head.
Wow.
And he describes exactly what his job as a member of KGB was supposed to be.
I have a book called Towards Liberty that was made by the Cato Institute, and it was published, I think, in the 70s. And a lot of things that was written in there was, Hayek wrote in there, Friedman, and just different libertarian thinkers had wrote essays for the book, and the things that they described was something that was very similar to our time now. So and that blew my mind. So if you're saying this guy is going to, he's talking about more stuff that is similar to now or even very close to it, this is gonna mess me up.
Yeah. So okay, I haven't read your book. I'll write down the name for you to look for the hour and a half long interview, and then type in the name of the book that I should get into for reading.
I got you.
In the Hangouts. I'll be right back, because for me to type it means I'm gonna have to exit the thing, and I'm done with my interjection. Sorry about that, Marianne. Go ahead.
I want to, like, in the SJW stuff, like, what specifically of this chapter reminded you of the SJW stuff? The fear of guns, maybe.
Yeah, just the whole control that's being put over to people, just making them. What is it? Fear? No, it's not fear mongering. What is it
Going
called?
into solitude, like dividing people up.
Yeah, dividing people up. That's very close to SJW. You know, it's either you're with us or
Or
you're.
you're against us, yeah.
That's not necessarily SJW. That's the exact lines from what's his face. George Bush. That's it.
Oh, either you're against, or you're with us, or you're against us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's very, to me, that's
Nuclear.
experiencing SJW's full force. I have experienced that whole pack mentality that they develop, where it's just, you have a thought that they don't agree with, and it is either you're wrong or you're just crazy and you're just brainwashed. There's no in between. Like, oh yeah, you cannot agree with some of the things I believe, and we can still be friends or allies. But it's just you disagree on let's say guns. You like seeing little kids get shot in the face.
Yeah.
Hmm. That leap of logic that they do.
But please go ahead, continue with this work of art.
Yes. Yes. Let's see who she finds at the end of the back of the store.
I hope it's Macy's.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. No, not that guy.
Not
Okay.
quite that. Good guess, though. Good guess. All right. Chapter 4. He lay sprawled against the back wall 20 feet away, long legs spread out in front of him, clutching his stomach with one hand. He was wearing fatigues and black boots, and he was covered in grime and shimmering with blood. There was blood everywhere, on the wall behind him, pulling on the cold concrete beneath him, coating his uniform, matted in his hair. The blood glittered darkly, black as tar in the semi-darkness. In his other hand was a gun, and that gun was pointed at my head. I mirrored him, his handgun to my rifle, fingers flexing on the triggers. His, mine. Didn't prove anything. His pointing a gun at me. Maybe he was really a wounded soldier and thought I was one of them. Or maybe not. Drop your weapon, he sputtered at me. Like hell. Drop your weapon, he shouted, or tried to shout. The words came out all cracked and crumbly, beaten up by the blood rising from his gut. Blood dribbled over his bottom lip and hung quivering from his stubbly chin. His teeth shone with blood. I shook my head. My back was to the light, and I prayed he couldn't see how badly I was shaking or the fear in my eyes. This wasn't some damn rabbit that was stupid enough to hop into my camp one Sunday morning. This was a person, or if it wasn't, it looked just like one. The thing about killing is you don't know if you can actually do it until you actually do it. He said it a third time, not as loud as the second. It came out like a plea. Drop your weapon. The hand holding his gun twitched. The muzzle dipped downward to the floor. Not much, but my eyes had adjusted to the light by this point, and I saw a speck of blood down the barrel, and then he dropped the gun. It fell between his legs with a sharp cling. He brought up his empty hand and held it, palm outward over his shoulder. Okay, he said with a bloody half-smile. Your turn. I shook my head. Other hand, I said. I hoped my voice sounded stronger than I felt. My knees had begun to shake, and my arms ached, and my head was spinning. I was also fighting the urge to hurl. You don't know if you can do it until you can do it. I can't, he said. Other hand. If I move this hand, I'm afraid my stomach will fall out. I adjusted the butt of the rifle against my shoulder. I was sweating, shaking, trying to think. Either or, Cassie. What do you do? What are you going to do? Either or. I'm dying, he said matter-of-factly. From this distance, his eyes were just pinpricks of reflected light. So you can either finish me off or help me. I know you're human. How do you know? I asked quickly, before he could die on me. If he was a real soldier, he might know how to tell the difference. It would be an extremely useful bit of information. Because if you aren't, you would have shot me already. He smiled again. His cheeks dimpled, and that's when it hit me how young he was, only a couple years older than me. See, he said softly, that's how you know too. How I know what? My eyes were tearing up. His crumpled up body wiggled in my vision like an image of a funhouse mirror, but I didn't dare release my grip on the rifle to rub my eyes. That I'm human. If I wasn't, I would have shot you. That made sense. Or did it make sense because I wanted it to make sense? Maybe he dropped the gun to get me to drop mine. And once I did, the second gun he was hiding under his fatigues would come out and the bullet would say hello to my brain. This is what the others have done to us. You can't band together to fight without trust. And without trust, there was no hope. How do you rid the earth of humans? Rid the humans of their humanity? I have to see your other hand, I said. I told you. I have to see your other hand. My voice cracked then. Couldn't help it. He lost it. Then you're just going to have to shoot me, bitch. Just shoot me and get it over with. His head fell back against the wall. His mouth came open, and a terrible howl of anguish tumbled out and bounced from wall to wall and floor to ceiling and pounded against my ears. I didn't know if he was screaming from the pain or the realization that I wasn't going to save him. He had given in to hope, and that will kill you. It kills you before you die, long before you die. If I show you, he gasped, rocking back and forth against the bloody concrete. If I show you, will you help me? I didn't answer. I didn't answer because I didn't have an answer. I was playing this one nanosecond at a time. So he decided for me. He wasn't going to let them win. That's what I think now. He wasn't going to stop hoping. If it killed him, at least he would die with a sliver of his humanity intact. Grimacing, he slowly pulled out his left hand. Not much day left now, hardly any light at all, and what light there was seemed to be flowing away from its source, from him, past me and out the half-open door. His hand was caked in half-dried blood. It looked like he was wearing a crimson glove. The stunted light kissed his bloody hand and flicked along the length of something long and thin and metallic, and my finger yanked back on the trigger, and the rifle kicked against my shoulder hard, and the barrel bucked in my hand as I emptied the clip. From a great distance I heard someone screaming, but it wasn't him screaming, it was me screaming. Me and everybody else who was left, if there was anybody left. All of us helpless, hopeless, stupid humans screaming because we got it wrong. We got it all wrong. There was no alien swarm descending from the sky in their flying saucers or big metal walkers like something out of Star Wars, or cute little wrinkly ETs who just wanted to pluck a couple of leaves, eat some Reese's Pieces, and go home. That's not how it ends. That's not how it ends at all. It ends with us killing each other behind rows of empty beer coolers in the dying light of a late summer day. I went up to him before the last of the light was gone, not to see if he was dead. I knew he was dead. I wanted to see what he was still holding in his bloody hand. It was a crucifix. Chapter 5. Should I continue?
Mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this sounds exactly like pretty much the Soviet thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just tired. Yeah, I think I drank myself into nearly passing out.
Oh,
Yeah, earlier. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, so part of the thing about Yuri Bezmenov earlier was the whole purpose of the KGB plan was what was it? Moral subversion or some ideological subversion. That's what it was. Ideological subversion, and the purpose of ideological subversion is to get people to fight against each other, to not trust each other, and to basically ask government to take care of them, to solve their problems for them, to get the government to give them more and more shit, or stuff. I need to learn to stop swearing.
That really doesn't.
But yeah, you get the idea.
Honestly.
Well, it's I shared a couple of links in the
Yeah.
chat. Yeah, I know you saw one of them, but yeah, the second one is the one that I was referring to, but the first one is something that looks useful. But
Actually, I didn't see either of them, so I'm just saying
yeah, they're very.
I'm just saying
It'll
that,
screw with you. Yeah.
I'm just saying it doesn't coming from the government. That doesn't shock me.
Yep. Basically, everything that's happening now, it describes right in there. It's pretty horrific, but
yeah, it is. This definitely is going to be a take on the whole Big Brother type atmosphere that we're.
Oh, it's 1984 full blown. It's 1984 full blown. This is the steps you take to create 1984. In fact, it's 1984 is the blueprint. This is simply how you use the hammer to drive in the nails.
Yep. Just pick up your hammer and sickle and chop off some pickles.
Yep. And drive their hand. Yeah, chop off the hands with the sickle and drive build the house with their hands by nailing them together.
Just look how I finished listening to the
kind of gruesome, but yeah,
it works.
Yeah, but yeah, it's what we're headed down to. So
yeah, I mean, when it comes to the government just spying on us, and we all know they're spying on us, and we're arguing over petty topics currently.
Like left versus right.
Yeah, like no, that's not even left versus right. That's just, oh, I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican. That's it. Just
go to war.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times I've seen a video of someone saying, there might be a second civil war. I'm like, over what? They're like just basically the same ideology. They both want a state that controls you.
Well, that's actually the funny thing is they're right, but at the same time they're wrong. Have you seen what Antifa has done to Carl Tucker or Tucker Carlson?
No.
Yeah, I have. They went to his house with a replica of him, and they threw it at his door, and his wife thought that was him, and like she was panicking, and like they were just attacking.
Yeah, they even broke the fucking door, and yeah, with that step, I wouldn't be surprised if the Proud Boys and stuff start somewhere down the road. We're gonna see a gunfight, and then it's just gonna go from there. Yeah. Somebody's gonna get killed, and it's gonna go from there. Antifa, more likely than anything, Antifa is gonna do something. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have a false flag attack and it starts with the Proud Boys. So.
Oh, Wonderfell. Oh, Madam's gone. He must have been cut off again. Poor dude.
All those all those groups that are just rising up, Antifa and, like you said, the Proud Boys, and just I agree. They're eventually going to start shooting at each other, especially the ones who are the gun advocates and they're not afraid to open carry.
Don't get Antifa wrong. They have guns. They've already been arrested with sawed-off shotguns and AKs. So.
Oh, I think I seen a Steven Crowder video where they were talking.
Yep. Not just Steven Crowder.
They have guns and sawed-off shotguns. Yeah, no.
Not just that. They have you noticed? What is it? What's his name again? Redneck Revolt. Redneck Revolt. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got his own militia.
They have.
He's got his own militia. Yeah.
They have more than that. They probably. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those fuckers had a machine gun turret or like an AK, like a 50 cal or something.
They've got napalm. They know. They already know. They've got a bunch of assassination tools. keep in mind this is coming from and I've showed pictures of this to my little group before. Marianne, I think you've seen them. They've got an entire web page design dedicated to the blueprints of producing firearms and weapons.
You talking about the amino screenshots you've shared?
Yep.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, they show how to build all sorts of firearms. They show how to build plasticine.
Like the Anarchist Cookbook.
Yeah. They also got they've even got anarchist cookbook pages on that. Yes.
Goofies.
Yeah, so they're preparing, don't get me wrong. So technically speaking, I don't know how far they're actually going in it because we're talking about a bunch of kids here.
A lot of them are retards. A lot of them still live with their parents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not all the time. There's a bunch of them that'll roam around the country in groups.
And don't forget, the media is backing them, so they have a lot of good coverage over them. So that's just a lot of
not just
chapters
coverage.
popping
They've
up
got
with-
actual funding. They've actually got funding and leadership, even though they don't actively take the role of leadership.
Yeah.
So
They're just like, hey guys, you should go over there and protest this.
Yep, and they and the roaming groups tend to go into abandoned areas or abandoned houses or apartment complex, basically any place that isn't already occupied, and they'll take refuge there. And from there so that's probably Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just asking, they have European chapters, correct?
Europe is where Antifa started.
Oh, really?
In fact, it started in the British punk scene. On the off chat during our line chats, we were having a discussion on the history of Antifa. I think. How the hell do I know that? I think I was drunk when I had that.
Yeah, you were drunk as fuck, but you still.
I still remember that. I remember something from when I was hammered.
Yeah, you were.
Hell yes.
I thought they started through the Black Bloc.
England.
And
Nope.
oh wow, that's crazy.
Okay, yeah. So the Antifa, the very first iteration of Antifa started in Nazi Germany. But I'm talking about the revival of Antifa that has morphed into what we see today, started in the British punk scene.
Oh, okay.
So, Antifa started off as a communist group against fascism during the Weimar Republic while the Nazis were rising into power.
Okay.
Nazis subsequently quelled them. A lot of survivors ran off. Well, anyway, the ideas remained.
It was just socialist fighting socialists.
Yeah, pretty much. The whole cannibalism thing. But
that sounds about right. England did have that whole punk scene coming up. They still do those rallies and protests where they burn flags.
Yep. Well, not only that. Here's the thing about the Frankfurt School of Thought I was talking about earlier. When Germany started taking power, when the Nazis took power in Germany, and they were and because Nazis were heavily anti-communist, where do you think they evacuated to? France, England, and the United States.
Yep.
In Megas.
Well, mainly those three areas. So the communists from the Frankfurt School of Thought, which were communists from Poland, Jewish communists from Poland that got basically exiled out of Poland, and they took shop up in Germany.
Yep.
So
and I assume they wouldn't be able to survive in Russia when they were going through the whole revolutions because Lenin and Stalin, they expelled all their competition. Anyone that didn't agree with their communism ways. But yeah, this is all like kind of coming together. Within the book is who's the author of the book?
Yeah, I got ejected again.
We got
I'm back.
Got buddy Pipsqueak in the chat, in the YouTube chat.
You got niggered.
Just arrived.
Pipsqueak.
So
worst pound. Where's worst pound? Hello, can you guys still hear me? Friggin' niggers.
So the key thing.
Hello.
Hey, is Corey still here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically, before I continue on, to anybody that's going to be watching this chat, and because I said Jewish communist, just to let you know, Milton Friedman was a Jew.
Fucking niggers.
And he's somebody that we pretty much listen to a lot of his work. So
And
Ancap's
David Friedman
yeah.
and Murray Rothbard.
So yep, exactly. I think the vast majority of our most influential figures were all Jews. So before you start saying we're anti-Semites, fuck off.
Jews, Jews.
That is like, stop swearing. I find that word insulting.
Mm.
That's triggering. That's triggering. Please stop calling.
Okay.
Please stop saying Jews. Yeah! Shit.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we
Yeah.
always had a fast attack from someone tonight when they friggin' got offended by the horrid nigger word.
Anyway, so moving on. Yeah, basically Poland exiled a bunch of Jewish communists. They set up the Frankfurt School of Thought. And there's a whole lot of it's been known it's known that a bunch of Jewish people started doing riots, and it's been called the communists. There's a whole reason why Germany hated communism so much, and all the vast majority of the information has been erased.
Because
So
the winners of war, they can change history.
Yeah, not only that, the very fact of the matter, another fact of historically speaking, I can't remember his name, not Winston Churchill, the
Chamberlain?
No. He was the major tank general there.
For who? Which side? Rommel? Was it Rommel?
He was the United States. He was one of our US generals. Sherman. I think it was Sherman.
Oh yeah.
No, wait, was it Sherman? Maybe. Anyway, so basically, he became a Nazi sympathizer towards the end when he started leading West Germany, and he said the Germans were right, the Nazis were right. He started attacking Jewish and communist people, and later on, in order to maintain their political standing, they basically ousted him from his position in power over the rebuilding of West Germany, and subsequently he was mysteriously killed later.
Oh wow.
And he was also he became this was a guy who went in to rescue Jews and became anti-Semitic, and he even opposed the creation. When he heard about Zionism, he started opposing that. So the communist, the Frankfurt School of Thought, the communist Jews did something. And unfortunately, all that information, even though there's plenty of hints throughout history that information is there, that information is almost impossible to get a hold of.
And yeah, let's not forget, and this is around the time when countries, they started allowing Jews to actually go to schools and actually own land and do different things and have more abilities to be treated.
Exactly.
So I could see how they felt they were treated wrongly by different countries and how they could want to change them.
Well, not only that, if you look at history, during the after the Crusades, basically we started expelling Jewish people left and right from Europe started expelling Jewish people left and right, especially after supposed Hebrew and Islamic coalitionism, or collusion, to try and take over the entirety of Europe. So the Christians basically expelled expelled Islam during the Crusades, got pissed off at the Jews, expelled them most of the way. Eventually, they were able to expel the Moors that were in control of Spain, and later on during the Spanish Inquisition, they.
So the Moors
in
Sicily and the Spanish, they formed the Spanish Inquisition too.
Anyway, continuing on, they got rid of the Jews that way, and since then it was probably cultural reasons they brought them back. Holy shit! I'm actually in the group. It's not kicking me out. Yes.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Allahu Akbar.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because
it might have been because I was glitching out if I couldn't hear you earlier.
Well, it's because no, fucking Google's not registering my voice for some reason.
Yeah,
Google, you're
Google's
fucking
been
gay.
doing a lot of shit lately. Google's done a
you're
lot of
fucking
shit
gay.
lately.
Google, you're
Yeah.
fucking gay. You're fucking gay, Google.
They're
But-
targeting us because we're all ANCAPs, and they say, "Hey, cut that out."
Possibly. We don't have any citation for that yet. But there is a lot of us getting kicked, any right wingers getting kicked. But anyway, so the point being that and again, I'd like to reiterate for anybody that's thinking we're anti-Semitic, the vast majority of the most influential figures of our core philosophy are Jewish. In fact, they're the ones, even Stephen Molyneux, who's kind of rejected, he's even stated that it was the Jews that warned us exactly what's going on of all this shit. So, yeah, so anybody that's going to say that we're anti-Semitic, fuck off.
Yeah, well, we already had a person spaz out over the horrible, dreaded nigger word, so whatever.
Yeah, well, honestly speaking, even I have issues with that, but that's because it's still there with me. So I'm just
Nigger.
Yeah.
So Atlas, he's gonna join in a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The smartest man in our group.
Will he hold the?
Well, that's fucking niggerish.
Yep, gonna have to go over the book to him, do a little recap.
Yeah, and what we got?
Yeah. So what do you think of chapter 4?
During the bits and pieces that I was in, because I kept getting kicked. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see. I didn't hear. I heard that she was trying to get through the fridge, and then it kicked me out. And yeah.
Yeah, well, she was like trying to get to the back, and there was this wounded soldier, not much older than she was, and
oh my god,
really bloody.
She lives in Venezuela. That's where she lives.
Oh god,
Venezuela.
she's the girl who flew the helicopter and shot down on the General Assembly.
Allahu Akbar. No, she lives in Syria.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Niggers.
So the soldier was all bloody, and he was trying to stay alive, trying to stop the wounds or hold back the blood, and she thought he was holding Cassie thought the guy was holding another weapon, but turned out he was about to show, and paranoia got the best of her. And she shot the wounded soldier.
Show me your hand.
Yeah. Yep. And
bitch, I'm about to arrest you.
His hand was a crucifix, not a weapon, a crucifix, like a neck.
Yep. Well, divide and conquer. In this case, in the ideological sense, getting humanity to give up its humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what chapter 4
humanity
mentioned.
Spooky, scary N-word incoming. Or nigger word.
But yeah, it's
Who's driving a car?
Spooky and scary nigger word.
well, I'm not driving. I'm just turning it on for heat.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard a car start. And I was like,
Yep. Well, yeah, let's not go into that.
but
I'm picking up hoes, motherfucker.
Atlas is here, niggers, motherfuckers,
Starting
motherfuckers.
off. Welcome aboard, Atlas.
Hey.
It is Atlas here.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello, everyone. Marianne, thanks for the invite. Sorry for the delay.
Nigger,
It's
mushroom,
okay, we can recap
mushroom.
the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
Nigger.
You miss about 5 chapters.
yeah,
4, technically.
4 chapters.
4 chapters.
sorry.
I can't count.
Don't do it again.
Well, I'll go check them out when the video is released. to make it easy.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that's a better idea, actually.
We
Yeah.
were just gonna catch you up, but what we got basically is just so far is just it reflects the real world.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm tired.
And then me drawing conclusions between Yuri Bezmenov and his interviews and historical stuff from like the Frankfurt School of Thought.
Mary, question about the book. It's the genre is related towards more one of those sci-fi
God damn.
genres.
Yes, it's a sci-fi dystopian novel.
Is it on?
Alrighty. Unfortunately,
it's not the
Hangouts
same-
has stopped.
Again, for you.
Nigger.
Yeah. So I'll
Nigger.
be in and out again, I think.
Unfortunately,
sucks.
niggers have stopped.
That sucks. Google, stop it.
Google
stop
hates
being
me.
fat. Stop being
Google,
fat.
stop being a rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Ow, Google, that hurts. I did not give you my consent. That was my first time. I was saving that for when I got married.
Google, stop it, you rapist.
Mm.
I'm officially going to charge rape on you, Google, because this is just uncalled for.
Okay, 4chan, get on this.
Oh God! Hey, Koi, did we get on? Did we get that out to 4chan yet?
Guys, we shouldn't talk about that on the stream right now.
I am a 4chan spy. I'm really an Ancom. I've been here the whole time. I got everything. Thank you. You proven my point. All Ancaps are racist.
Yep. We hate you, man. We hate you because we know you're a Jew. Shit.
Oh, from the mod, Jaguar Atlas, Jaguar says he likes your profile picture.
Oh,
Google, stop being a rapist already.
it's actually a painting.
Google is racist though. If you type in a group of black people into Google and
Google, stop with the social Google, stop with the social contract like sex. Stop with it.
My favorite one with Google, whenever you type those things in, if you type down "a white man stole my car," Google will bring out, did you mean a black man stole your car?
Oh my God.
I typed in a group of black people and I got a group of white people in blackface.
Oh God. That's not shoving down the narrative, no, is it? No, that's completely normal.
That's what's Google has told me they don't like my kind around here.
Oh God. Normal black people. We only like blackface black people. God damn it.
I'm sorry, your lips aren't exaggerated enough.
Oh my God.
Sounds niggerish.
Well, did you go outside without your watermelon?
Well, don't
Yeah,
you
so
know
we're
that here's the epitome of KKK of KKK's entrapment of black people. A bucket of KFC held up with a stick that's got a rope tied up on it, and they're hiding in the bushes.
Wow.
Come here, nigger.
Oh God.
That's the KKK for you, because there's so many of them. They're all they're all around.
Yeah, all 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
I wonder if you hold up a picture of one of their cousins, should
I spam the N-word in the Hangouts chat?
No,
please don't.
Please don't.
Spamming is annoying enough as it is.
Yeah.
That has to be.
Continuing.
I think. Are you an Ancom?
No.
Me?
Hell no. Revan, maybe.
No, I'm not a fucking Ancom. Go
Dark
fuck
Black
yourself.
and red, motherfucker.
Hello.
That's Sith colors, not friggin' Ancoms. Ancoms, the Sith hate Ancoms. Fuck. We're Sith.
How's it go? Black and red, black and red, black and red, black and
We're Sith, not friggin' communists. Fuck. Us Sith have had the color red way before communists had.
So
For
just double checking.
I'm sorry, but
Nice knowing you.
the Sith suck ass, major ass. Especially Revan when he was a Sith, he couldn't even defeat the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a bitch.
Emperor Vision, he's a bitch. Yeah, definitely.
Malik. That's why Malik blew his ship up, and Revan never got over that. He put him in a coma.
What?
I'm just making fun of Revan because he could have picked anybody else, but he picked Revan.
He's so mean to me. Fires lightning.
It's okay, Revan. It's okay, Revan. He'll get the butter next time.
Okay.
I'm the one who friggin' killed Malik in the first place. Malik, and I also chopped Malik's jaw off, like because he's my bitch. Frig.
Wait, when did he kill Malik? I didn't.
In the story,
Can we continue with the
All right,
novel?
And I also
wait,
chopped
yeah.
his I
Let's
also chopped
continue
his
with
jaw
the
off and
novel.
humiliated him like he's a bitch.
let's go back to chapter 5. Let's read that. No more
Agreed.
Star Wars.
But I want to continue with Bum Alley Rapists.
No,
Not right now.
this isn't the time.
Aww.
Stop projecting, Revan. Stop projecting.
What? I'm not
Story.
projecting anything, you stupid nigger.
Allow the story.
Let's go
Allow the
to
story.
chapter 5. Okay.
Fuck. You fucking coon.
Oh, this has to be the funniest shit ever. I can't stop laughing.
Oh my god. I'm gonna die
You're
by
enjoying
laughing.
yourself here with us.
Everyone, shut up.
Okay. All right. Ready? Chapter
Yeah.
5?
Yes.
Okay.
Get our shit together for 2 seconds.
All right. That was the last person I've seen. The leaves are falling heavy now, and the nights have turned cold. I can't stay in these woods. No leaves for cover from the drones. Can't risk a campfire. I gotta get out of here. I know where I have to go. I've known for a long time. I've made a promise. The kind of promise you don't break, because if you break it, you've broken part of yourself, maybe the most important part. But you tell yourself things like, I need to come up with something first. I can't just walk into the lion's den without a plan. Or it's hopeless. There's no point anymore. You've waited too long. Whatever the reason I didn't leave before, I should have left the night I killed him. I don't know how he was wounded. I didn't examine his body or anything. I should have, no matter how freaked out I was. I guess he could have gotten hurt in an accident, but the odds were better that someone or something had shot him. And if someone or something had shot him, that someone or something was still out there, unless the crucifix shoulder had offered them it. Or he was one of them, and the crucifix was the trick. Another way the others mess with your head. The uncertain circumstances of your certain destruction. Maybe that will be the 5th wave, attacking us from the inside, turning our own minds into weapons. Maybe the last human being on Earth won't die of starvation or exposure, or as a meal for wild animals. Maybe the last one will die will be killed by the last one alive. Okay, that's not someplace you want to go, Cassie. Honestly, even though it's suicide to stay here and I have a promise to keep, I don't want to leave. These woods have been home for a long time. I know every path, every tree, every vine and bush. I lived in the same house for 16 years, and I can't tell you exactly what my backyard looked like, but I can describe and detail every leaf and twig in this stretch of forest. I have no clue what's out there beyond these woods and the 2 mile stretch of the interstate I hike every week to forage for supplies. I'm guessing a lot more of the same. Abandoned towns seeking of sewage and rotting corpses, burned out shells of houses, feral dogs and cats, pileups that stretch for miles on the highway, and bodies, lots and lots of bodies. I pack up. This tent has been my home for a long time, but it's too bulky and I need to travel light. Just the essentials, with the Luger, the M16, the ammo, and my trusty Bowie knife. Topping the list, sleeping bag, first aid kit, 5 bottles of water, 3 boxes of Slim Jims, and some tins of sardines. I hated sardines before the arrival. Now I've developed a real taste for them. First thing I looked for when I hit a grocery store, sardines. Books. They're heavy and take up room in my already bulging backpack. But I have a thing about books. So did my father. Our house was stacked floor to ceiling with every book he could find after the third wave took out more than 3.5 billion people, while the rest of us scrounged for potable water and food and stocked up on the weaponry for the last stand we were sure was coming. Daddy was out with my little brother's radio flyer, carting home the books. The mind-blowing numbers didn't faze him. The fact that we'd gone from 7 billion strong to a couple 100,000 in 4 months didn't shake his confidence that our race would survive. We have to think about the future, he insisted. When this is over, we'll have to rebuild nearly every aspect of civilization. Solar flashlight, toothbrush and paste. I'm determined when the time comes, at least go out with clean teeth. Gloves, 2 pairs of socks, underwear, travel size box of Tide, deodorant, and shampoo. Gonna go out clean. See above. Tampons. I'm constantly worrying about my stash and if I'll be able to find more. My plastic baggie stuffed with pictures. Dad, Mom, my little brother, Sammy, my grandparents, Lizbeth, my best friend. One of Ben, you were some kind of serious, gorgeous parish. Clipped from my yearbook because Ben was my future boyfriend and or maybe future husband. Not that he knew it. He barely knew I existed. I knew some of the same people he knew, but I was a girl in the background, several degrees of separation removed. The only thing wrong with Ben was his height. He was 6 inches taller than me. Well, make that 2 things now, his height and the fact that he's dead. My cell phone, it was fried in the first wave, and there's no way to charge it. Cell towers don't work, and there's no one to call if they did. But that's my cell phone. Nail clippers, matches. I don't light fires, but at some point I may need to burn something or blow it up. 2 spiral-bound notebooks. College ruled, one with purple cover, the other red. My favorite colors, plus they're my journals. It's part of the hope thing. But if I am the last and there's no one left to read them, maybe an alien will, and they'll know exactly what I think of them. In case you're an alien and you're reading this, bite me. My starburst, already cold off of the orange. 3 packs of Wrigley's Spearmint. My last 2 Tootsie Pops. Mom's wedding ring. Sammy's ratty old teddy bear. Not that it's mine now. Not that I ever cuddle with it or anything. That's everything I can stuff into the backpack. Weird. Seems like too much and not enough. Still room for a couple of paperbacks, barely. Huckleberry Finn or The Grapes of Wrath. The poems of Sylvia Plath or Sammy's Shel Silverstein. Probably not a good idea to take the Plath. Depressing. Silverstein is for kids, but it still makes me smile. I decide to take Huckleberry. Seems appropriate. And where the sidewalk ends. See you there soon, Shell. Climb aboard, Jim. I heave the backpack over one shoulder, sling the rifle over the other, and head down the trail toward the highway. I don't look back. I pause inside the last line of trees. A 20-foot embankment runs down to the southbound lanes, littered with disabled cars. They had a plan for E.T. showing up uninvited and unannounced. Oh, wait. Wrong page. Here we go. Littered with the 20-foot embankment runs down to the southbound lanes, littered with disabled cars, piles of clothing, shredded plastic, garbage bags, burned out hulks of tractor trailers carrying everything from gasoline to milk. There are wrecks everywhere, some no worse than fender benders, some pileups that snake along the interstate for miles, and the morning sunlight sparkles on all the broken glass. There are no bodies. These cars have been here since the first wave. Long abandoned by their owners. Not many people died in the first wave. The massive electromagnetic pulse that ripped through the atmosphere at precisely 11 a.m. on the 10th day. Only around 500,000, Dad guessed. Okay, 500,000 sounds like a lot of people, but it's really just a drop in the population bucket. World War II killed over 100 times that number. And we did have some time to prepare for it, though we weren't exactly sure what we were preparing for. 10 days from the first satellite pictures of the mothership passing Mars to the launch of the first wave. 10 days of mayhem. Martial law, sit-ins at the UN, parades, rooftop parties, endless internet chatter, and 24/7 coverage of the arrival over every medium. The president addressed the nation and then disappeared into his bunker. The Security Council went into a lockdown, closed to the press emergency session. A lot of people just split like our neighbors, the Majewskis. Packed up their camper on the afternoon of the 6th day with everything they could fit and hit the road, joining a mass exodus to somewhere else because anywhere else seemed safer for some reason. Thousands of people took off for the mountains or the desert or the swamps, somewhere else. The Majewskis' somewhere else was Disney World. They weren't the only ones. Disney set attendance records during those 10 days before the EMP strike. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That kind of reminds me of the Hawaii nuclear weapons scare. Porn state, like the number of people that visited porn sites during that period of time skyrocketed like 80%.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That's why I'm laughing.
Everyone's priority was all right. Well, I guess I'm gonna die.
Might as well get off.
Yeah.
Go out with a bang.
In this
A different kind of bang, though.
Place in the world, Disney World, in their minds, anyway.
The innocent way to put it.
Yeah.
Hey, Minnie, you ready for Mickey?
Jerk off before death. Got it.
Daddy asked Mr. Majewski, "So why Disney World?" And Mr. Majewski said, "Well, the kids have never been. His kids were both in college." Catherine.
I love that.
Catherine, who had come home from her freshman year at Baylor the day before, asked, "Where are you guys going?" "Nowhere," I said. And I didn't want to go anywhere. I was still living in denial, pretending all this crazy alien stuff would work out. I didn't know how. Maybe with the signing of some intergalactic peace treaty, or maybe they dropped by to take a couple of soil samples and go home, or maybe they were here on vacation, like the Majewskis going to Disney World.
Just God damn it.
Yeah. You need to get out, she said. They'll hit the cities first. You're probably right, I said. They'd never dream of taking out the Magic Kingdom. How would you rather? How would you rather die? She snapped. Hiding under your bed or riding Thunder Mountain? Good question. Daddy said the world was dividing into two camps, runners and nesters. Runners headed for the hills or Thunder Mountain. Nesters boarded up the windows, stocked up on the canned goods and ammunition, and kept the TV tuned to CNN 24/7.
Oh God, that's why the world fell apart. They all listened to CNN.
Yeah.
CNN ruined the world.
Oh, God. Hindsight is
That explains it. The aliens haven't set foot yet.
God.
Hindsight is such a, doesn't it?
There were no messages from our galactic party crashers during those first 10 days. No light shows, no landing on the south lawn or bug-eyed, butt-headed dudes in silver jumpsuits demanding to be taken to our leader. No bright, spinning tops blaring the universal language of music, and no answer when we sent our message, something like, "Hello, welcome to Earth. Hope you enjoy your stay. Please don't kill us." Nobody knew what to do. We figured the government sort of did. The government had a plan for everything, or so we assumed. They had a plan for E.T. showing up uninvited and unannounced, like the weird cousin nobody in the family likes to talk about. Some people nested, some people ran, some got married, some got divorced, some made babies, some killed themselves. We walked around like zombies, blank-faced and robotic, unable to absorb the magnitude of what was happening. It's hard to believe now, but my family, like the vast majority of people, went about our daily lives as if the most monumentally mind-blowing thing in human history wasn't happening right over our heads. Mom and Dad went to work, Sammy went to daycare, and I went to school and soccer practice. It was so normal, it was damn weird. By the end of day one, everybody over the age of 2 had seen the mothership up close 1,000 times, this big grayish-green glowing hulk about the size of Manhattan circling 250 miles above Earth. NASA announced its plan to pull a space shuttle out of mothballs to attempt contact. Well, that's good, we thought. This silence is deafening. Why did they come billions of miles just to stare at us? It's rude. On day 3, I went out with a guy named Mitchell Phelps. Well, technically we went outside. The date was in my backyard because of the curfew. He hit the drive-thru at Starbucks on his way over, and we sat on the back patio sipping our drinks and pretending we didn't see Dad's shadow passing back and forth as he paced the room.
It sounds like something I'd do.
Mitchell had moved into town a few days before the arrival. He sat behind me in World Lit, and I made the mistake of loaning him my highlighter. So the next thing I know, he's asking me out because if a girl loans you a highlighter, I think you're hot. I don't know why I went out with him. He wasn't that cute, and he wasn't that interesting beyond the whole new kid aura. He definitely wasn't Ben Parrish. Nobody was, except Ben Parrish. And that was the whole problem. By the third day, you either talked about the others all the time, or you tried not to talk about them at all. I fell into the second category. Mitchell was in the first. What if they're us? He asked. It didn't take long after the arrival for all the conspiracy nuts to start buzzing about classified government projects or the secret plan to manufacture an alien crisis in order to take away our liberties. I thought that's where he was going and groaned. What? He said. I don't mean us. I mean, what if they're us from the future? And it's like the Terminator, right? I said, rolling my eyes. They've come to stop the uprising of the machines. Or maybe they are the machines. Maybe it's Skynet. I don't think so, he said, acting like I was serious. It's the grandfather paradox. What is? And what the hell is a grandfather paradox? He said it like he assumed I knew what the grandfather paradox was, because if I didn't know, then I was a moron. I hate when people do that. I mean, we can't go back in time and change anything. If you went back in time and killed your grandfather before you were born, then you wouldn't be able to go back in time to kill your grandfather. Why would you want to kill your grandfather? I twisted the straw in my strawberry frappuccino to produce that unique straw in a lid squeak. The point is that just showing up changes history, he said. Like I was the one who brought up this time travel. Do we have to talk about this? What else is there to talk about? His eyebrows climbed toward his hairline. Mitchell's had very bushy eyebrows. It was one of the first things I noticed about him. He also chewed his fingernails. That was the second thing I noticed. Cuticle care can tell you a lot about a person. I pulled out my phone and texted Lisbeth. Help me. Are you scared? He asked, trying to get my attention or for some reassurance. He was looking at me very intently. I shook my head. Just bored. A lie. Of course I was scared. I knew I was being mean, but I couldn't help it. For some reason I can't explain, I was mad at him. Maybe I was really mad at myself for saying yes to a date with a guy I wasn't actually interested in. Or maybe I was mad at him for not being Ben Parrish, which wasn't his fault, but still. Help me do what? I don't care what. Oh, by the way, that was like from the cell phone. That's in bold print. So I don't care what we talk about, he said. He was looking towards the rose-red, swirling dregs of his coffee, his knee popping up and down so violently under the table that my cup jiggled. And Cassie texts, Mitchell. I didn't think I needed to say any more. Who are you texting? Lisbeth texts, told you not to go out with him. Nobody you know, I said. She texts back. I don't know why I did. We can go somewhere else, he said. You want to go to a movie? There's a curfew, I reminded him. No one was allowed on the streets after 9 except military and emergency vehicles. Elizabeth texts, LOL, to make Ben jealous. Are you pissed or something? No, I said. I told you what I was. He pursed his lips in frustration. He didn't know what to say. I was just trying to figure out who they might be, he said. You and everybody else on the planet, I said. Nobody actually knows, and they won't tell us, so everybody sits around guessing and theorizing, and it's all kind of pointless. Maybe they're space-faring mice men from Planet Cheese and they've come for our provolone. And Cassie texts Lisbeth, BP doesn't know I exist. You know, he said, it's kind of rude texting while I'm trying to have a conversation with you. He was right. I slipped the phone into my pocket. What's happening to me? I wondered. The old Cassie never would have done that. Already the others were changing me into someone different, but I wanted to pretend nothing had changed, especially me. Did you hear? He asked, going right back to the topic that I said bored me. They're building a landing site. I had heard, in Death Valley. That's right, Death Valley. Personally, I don't think it's a very smart idea, I said, rolling out the welcome mat. Why not? It's been 3 days. 3 days and they've refused all contact. If they're friendly, why wouldn't they say hello already? Maybe they're just shy. Twisting my hair around my finger, tugging on it gently to produce that semi-pleasant pain. Like being the new kid, he said. The new kid. That can't be easy, being the new kid. I felt like I should apologize for being rude. I was kind of mean before, I admitted. I'm sorry. He gave me a confused look. He was talking about the aliens, not himself. Then I said something about me, which was about neither. It's okay, he said. I heard you don't date much. Ouch. What else did you hear? One of those questions you don't want to know the answer to, but still have to ask. He sipped his latte through the little hole in the plastic lid. Not much. It's not like I asked around. You asked somebody, and they told you I didn't date much. I just said I was thinking about asking you out, and they go, Cassie's pretty cool. And I said, what's she like? And they said, you know, you were nice, but don't get my hopes up because you had this thing for Ben Parrish. They told you that? Who told you that? He shrugged. I don't remember her name. Was it Lisbeth Morgan? I'll kill her. I don't know her name, he said. What did she look like? Long brown hair, glasses. I think her name was Carly or something. I don't know any... Oh, God. Some Carly person I don't even know knows about me and Ben Parrish, or the lack of any me and Ben Parrish. And if Carly or something knew about it, then everybody knew about it. Well, they're wrong, I sputtered. I don't have a thing for Ben Parrish. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to me. Maybe this isn't working out, he said. Everything I say, you either get bored or mad. I'm not mad, I said angrily. Okay, I'm wrong. No, he was right. And I was wrong for telling him the Cassie he knew wasn't the Cassie I used to be. The pre-arrival Cassie who wouldn't have been mean to a mosquito. I wasn't ready to admit the truth. It wasn't just the world that had changed with the coming of the others. We changed. I changed. The moment the mothership appeared, I had started down a path that would end in the back of a convenience store behind some empty beer coolers. That night with Mitchell was only the beginning of my evolution. Mitchell was right about the others not stopping by just to say howdy. On the eve of the first wave, the world's leading theoretical physicist, one of the most smartest guys in the world, that's what popped up on the screen under his talking head, one of the smartest guys in the world, appeared on CNN. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
And said,
Yep. I'm not a paid actor.
Just painful, damn it.
Oh, I'm totally not a paid actor.
This sounds about realistic as possible.
Totally not a paid actor, motherfucker.
Appeared on CNN and said, I'm not encouraged by the silence. I can think of no benign reason for it. I'm afraid we may expect something closer to Christopher Columbus's arrival in the Americas than a scene from Close Encounters. No, and we all know how it turned out for the Native Americans. I turned to my father and said, we should nuke them. I had to raise my voice to be heard over
Nuke your motherfucker.
Dad
But that breaks the nap.
up the volume during the news so he could hear it over Mom's TV in the kitchen. She liked to watch TLC while she cooked. I called it the War of the Remotes. Cassie, he was so shocked, his toes began to curl inside his white athletic socks. He grew up on Close Encounters and E.T. and Star Trek and totally bought into the idea that the others had come to liberate us from ourselves. No more hunger. No more wars. The eradication of disease. The secrets of the cosmos unveiled.
Communism.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't you understand? This could be the next step in our evolution, a huge leap forward.
Oh.
Oh, God. He gave me a consoling hug. We're all very fortunate to be here to see it. Then he added casually, like he was talking about how to fix a toaster. A nuclear device can't do much damage in the vacuum of space. There's nothing to carry the shockwave. So this brainiac on TV is just full of shit. Don't use that language, Cassie, he chatted me. He's entitled to his opinion, but that's all it is, an opinion. But what if he's right? What if that thing up there is their version of a Death Star? Travel halfway across the universe just to blow us up? He patted my leg and smiled. Mom turned up the kitchen TV. He pushed the volume in the family room to 27. Okay, but what about an intergalactic Mongol horde, like he was talking about? I demanded. Maybe they've come to conquer us, shove us into reservations, enslave us. Cassie, he said, simply because something could happen doesn't mean it will happen. Anyway, it's all just speculation. This guy's, mine. Nobody knows why they're here. Isn't it just as likely they've come all this way to save us? 4 months after saying those words, my father was dead. He was wrong about the others, and I was wrong. One of the smartest guys in the world was wrong. It wasn't about saving us, and it wasn't about enslaving us or herding us into reservations. It was about killing us. All of us. What do you think, Andrew?
I prefer to check back on the other chapter before I make an evaluation.
Okay. Captain Dipsqueak. The aliens came to burn CNN.
Finally.
No. The aliens are part of CNN.
Yes.
This is the greatest trade deal since
Aliens? I thought it was the lizards that were part of CNN.
Well, you know,
Or
if you watch
rather,
the Battleship movie, aliens are lizards.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, never forget, if you build it, they will come.
Never forget that this is the greatest trade deal since ever.
Niggers. Only Jews come up with trade deals.
Oh my god.
Wrong.
Everybody I don't like is a Jew. It's now right to political discussion.
Everyone I don't like is a Jew. There you go.
Well, as we're
Everyone I don't like is a fascist.
as we were speaking, Israel and Palestine are currently launching missiles at each other.
Oh my god.
That's I hate to say this, that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's normie stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's the Hamas.
Israel had went into the Gaza Strip and killed a Hamas leader, and then they said, "Hey, eat this," and they sent a bunch of missiles at Israel, and Israel was like, "Hey, you fucker," and then they sent them back.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, stop sending missiles at us. We're gonna missile you back, motherfucker.
Don't you understand? This is communism at its finest. They're just sharing missiles.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Karl Marx would love this place.
Israel said, "I'm going to call my big brother, the U.S., and he's going to beat you up."
And we will.
I support you fully.
Sharing missiles.
But yeah, I'm so happy.
They also compare missile sizes like dudes compare a cock.
My missile's bigger than your missile.
After the missiles, they call them up like, how many people did that kill?
This time it got 251. That was really good. You wait till we send ours over. We're gonna get 252.
Compare missile sizes to see who has the bigger cock.
We just put a whole bunch of bacon in this missile. Don't get touched by it.
God. Yeah, I can see that. The Hamas saying, we're sending over pigs.
Oink, oink.
And then you're going to have the Jews like, no! That's sacrilegious.
I hope it's kosher.
No, it's the anti-kosher missile.
Oh my fucking god!
It's treating only kosher missiles.
Oh my god!
The kosher missiles have dill pickles.
Right wing watch, buddy. Please take us out of context. We're right and open. Come on, right wing watch.
Yes,
Come on, buddy.
yes, please,
We're helping you.
please.
Right wing watch, buddy. We're helping you here.
Yes, we are. We're giving you all the information you need to understand our plan to take over the world. First, we're gonna give the Jews dill pickles so they become kosher dill pickles. Then we're going to incorporate Islam into our religious songs so that we can undermine the Islam as a genuine religion instead of fa la 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 la. Fa la la la, or instead of fa la 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 la, it's gonna be fa la 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 Allah Allah.
Allah, 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 Allah.
We're gonna be
Allah, la, 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 Allah, la, 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 Allah, 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 la, 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 la.
I would like to say this: there's only one gender, and it is man, and women are second class.
No, it's man, woman, and Allahu Akbar. Allah snack bar.
It's okay, guys.
I'm back, by the way, but
things because I'm here and I'm a marginalized citizen, so it's okay. You're good.
There's only 3 genders: man, woman, autistic. I don't know.
Robot, sex robot. I am a love machine, and I won't love nobody but you. Yeah.
Oh my God! I know here. There's only 3 genders. Me, whiskey, and rum. I don't know.
I identify a Tom Woods' bald spot.
I call it. I say the 3 genders are rum, egg, nog.
Oh yes, please, please.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Gimme, gimme.
I don't swing that way, man.
No, I'm talking about give me the rum and eggnog, you fucking nigger.
Are you sure that CNN attack by the aliens wasn't just a false flag to distract them from the midterms?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it was.
The aliens are coming down. The aliens are coming. Run! The sky is falling.
Hillary was a captain.
No, wait. What if this is all, like you said, this is just a really delusional person who bought into all of what CNN says, like my mom.
Oh God!
Imagining all of this.
Oh my God! The world isn't real. Nothing is real. We're all just figments of each other's imaginations.
And
I'm a figment of your imagination. You're a figment of mine.
I hear a siren in the background. Someone has a siren up their ass.
No, it's 10 o'clock. We've got a fucking curfew here where I live.
Oh.
Sieg Frau.
Are you okay? Do you need help?
I want alcohol.
It was nice knowing you guys. Bye.
Yeah. No, don't go. We love you.
Captain Pipsqueak, that moment when the aliens only attack Republican-dominated polling stations.
It's a staged attack, according to the left. The Republicans are doing a false flag attack.
Every time the aliens attack something, they leave behind a note that says "voting third party is a waste of your vote."
Shit!
Don't vote third party. You're wasting your vote.
How about don't vote at all, motherfuckers? Whatever.
Whoa! If you're not
God
voting,
damn it! Kermit has a satellite sticking out of his ass.
It's getting a signal back. It's a Trump speech. No, it's a now this video that says Trump is a racist.
Trump is a racist.
All right. Well, we just got distracted from the book.
Yeah. Do you want to do like one more chapter and then that'll be it?
Sure.
Yeah, we can discuss more for like 30 minutes.
Discuss more? Are you sure you're not talking just straight up bullshit?
we can discussion and then final words and yeah.
I can't see September in this game.
Quick question.
Okay.
How long's the next chapter?
Okay, I'll look real quick.
To infinity and beyond.
Because if it's really long, we should just hold on off that for the next stream.
Okay, hold on.
Because
I'm like bouncing up and down.
When I read,
I want more rum and Coke. Someone give me more rum and Coke.
No, Revan, you've had enough.
Whoa! I'm sorry.
Hey, Revan.
This isn't 18th century America.
Revan.
Pages, so I guess we should just end it there.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone enjoying the book so far?
Yeah, I like
Yup.
it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty
I-
badass. He said it's called
Oh
Wave.
my gosh!
Yeah, I missed out on the beginning, but sounds awesome.
I want
Oh,
more
that is
rum and
prim.
coke.
It's one of those it's a young adult book, and it's they always have like a blatant message, and I like blatant messages when I read my fiction.
Mhm.
Hey! You got it wrong. See, this is the LGBT plus Q or Q plus P movement
Oh my God.
nowadays.
Fuck you.
Oh, I'm
Fuck
sorry.
you.
So it's supposed to be hebephiles.
Fuck you.
It's supposed to be the book.
No, please stop!
Yes, fuck you, Mal, and very much fuck you.
I have a book called,
Every day.
No.
Stop! Help!
Guys, please stop.
Stop!
If you mess with my culture, I will ram a missile up your ass.
Whoa! Did you just steal my culture?
ass missile is a culture, apparently.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but my culture, my people invented shoving things up asses. And by you,
Rum and coke. Oh my God, I want rum and coke. Give me more rum and coke.
I told
So,
you, this is not post
So,
Civil
what are your
War.
predictions for the next chapter, or towards the book?
I assume
Curious.
before it gets to the climax, it's just gonna be
The aliens
built
start
up
to
to the
demand gun
wave.
control.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
Aliens are gun control.
slowly messing with the population of the world is just like, hey, fuck you, and then like everyone's like, ah.
I want rum and coke and niggers. I don't know.
There's gonna
This
be
is what
humans.
it's going to be a build up towards showing what happens when SJWs rule the
No,
world.
the aliens tell them that taxation is the price they pay for.
They're gonna take over all the worlds, and everyone's gonna be like, wait, where can I drive now? How am I supposed to go?
Agenda 21 takeover, right?
Well, who will build the roads?
It's going to be the aliens because they purged CNN, so that means this is a reflection of the real world. When CNN got taken over by all the leftists, all right, and then we were reduced to them crying over small things.
I want more rum and coke.
Robin, please stop.
I assume there's going to be an alien called Donius Liminus, and he's gonna hold up a word that says aliener or something like that. He's gonna hold the word that says alien. Does this offend you?
No. It's going to be saying illegal aliens are still.
Oh my gosh.
Can I have a beer? I want a beer. A couple of beers.
Actually,
I want some beer. Give me some beers.
Hey, whoa.
The sad part about this whole thing, about the book just describing how the newcomers basically just wreck the trust everybody has.
Yeah.
So there's a guy I used to work with. I worked with him twice when I worked at this one business. Of course, it's Walmart. May it burn in hell.
All hell, the
Anyway.
mighty Walmart Armada.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I worked there twice, and I worked with this one guy. Like he's a very good friend of mine, old hippie type, but yeah. Since this fucking election, he has literally become brainwashed by the whole goddamn thing, and
I want more rum and coke.
Someone cut out there.
But yeah,
Did.
I get what he's saying. I got coworkers. The moment I say something that's like anti-status, they think I'm gonna go on a whole conspiracy rant. And I'm just like, no, it's the truth. You can do all those things that the government does without government, without the state.
Boom, Illuminati confirmed.
We are part of the right wing Illuminati, so this is
Illuminati.
yeah. Instead of controlling the world, we give back to control.
alrighty, I'm back. Fucking thing kicked me out again.
Well, no, we take over the world and leave everyone alone. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's exactly what ANCAPs do. Yeah, hell yeah.
What?
Taking over the world and leaving you alone. Ooh.
This whole leftist thing. Oh, what?
Malum, you were saying you were something about your coworker that you.
Yeah, we used to. I still think of him as a great human being. The problem is he's gotten bought up in this whole fucking left versus right thing. That the whole right winger thing is evil.
Yeah,
that especially the hate speech. He gets involved. Like him, he's big on the hate speech thing now, and it's like, I've tried. You can't. This is a guy who was very intelligent. He and I used to be able to reason together on a bunch of things, and now it's just he's so. I lost a friend because of fucking politics. And it wasn't because I let him go or all that shit. I lost him because he can't see past the fucking politics.
That's sad.
My mom basically as well.
Yeah, that's my mom too. Yeah, it's destroying, it's tearing everybody apart, and I don't know how the fuck they're able to do this bullshit, but NPC is reality, goddammit.
Yeah.
Stop freaking calling us, dehumanizing us, you Russian bots.
You motherfucking
We're not gonna
mob.
use the NPC word. Whoa. Did you just use the mob word?
You fucking got that right, because I'm a racist motherfucker.
But yeah, it's crazy because
I want rum and coke. Someone give me rum and coke.
What was that now, Corey?
Is caught up with the whole like their version of left is Democrats, and then their version of right is Republicans, and anything that's related to the right is just evil, it's racist,
Nazi, fascist. Yeah.
They think Nazis are not social. You tell somebody, oh, Nazis are socialists, they'll flip their shit.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. With the moment you attack them on that, saying, "What does Nazi mean?"
Well, you must think buffalo wings are made out of buffaloes.
God. Oh man, I never heard that before. That's a good one.
Oh,
but no,
must be democratic.
And here's the funny thing: the alt-right. So the alt-right are Nazis and fascists. Now they're talking about Marxism. They're adopting Marxist ideologies now.
Right. The KKK started to adopt some fascist, not socialist views.
Funny how every time they're totalitarian and anti-race, they always end up adopting socialist views.
I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. I gotta go get some more rum and coke. This is my favorite.
All right, boy. I know Karl Marx has said himself. He called minorities, right? What we label minorities, black people, Asians. He called them invalids. They're the lesser beings. You know, this is why he wanted a minimum wage. He wanted a minimum wage, so businesses are able to pay them less than white people.
Or no, that was it.
Yeah, I think that's Margaret Sanger, and that was under Planned Parenthood and the entire progressive movement. But I might be.
A minimum wage so they couldn't get job experience in.
Yep.
Margaret Sanger, the Hitler before Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was
the gender bender Hitler.
There's a lot of Hitler before.
Or should I say for the pre-incarnation?
Okay, there's another
context. More accurately, Hitler is the reincarnation of Margaret Sanger.
You know what's funny? When we talk about horrible nations and dictatorships and genocide and things like that, and we look at the history before them, people ignore that these countries were democracies. They were republics before they were taken over by a totalitarian leader. And when you say democracy will always have an oppressed minority and an oppressive majority, everyone calls you evil and they think you just want to see a whole bunch of black people get killed.
No, we're not talking about an oppressed minority as in black people or Asians or any group that is minority. We're talking about an ideological minority.
Like minorities.
Yeah, you can see it in South Africa. You can see it in Venezuela. You can see it here in the United States in democratic states.
When Ethiopia was taken over by the socialists, coming from a kingdom that then went to a republic that was then taken over by a dictatorship of socialists. They experienced a war with
He's getting a pain in the ass. What?
Small nation named Eritrea or something like that. In that nation, they have been at war. They just recently ended their war, but they've been at war with them since the 70s.
Damn. Who has been at war with who?
Ethiopia been at war with a minor nation. Yep.
Yeah.
Stop jerking off turkeys, dude.
And it.
Oh, that's kind of awful. Freak.
Sorry, that's what it sounds like.
It's crazy.
I'm not freaking jerking them off. That's terrible, Clark.
When you hear that, you think it's a turkey.
That's fucking terrible.
Alrighty, what now, Corey?
I think they've been at war with them even after the socialist government had collapsed. So when they became a democracy, they continued the socialist ideals and still bullied that nation into a peace treaty.
Oh damn. Yep.
It's crazy because
yeah. Sorry.
And that's
go ahead.
what I feel this book is going to cover. I feel there's gonna be like humans joining the alien side and turning on each other. Like these are sci-fi stories where this usually happens, but I feel like it's gonna kind of flesh it out more.
Yeah. Yep.
Honestly, I'm beginning to think the best thing we're going to end up seeing is, with regards to democracy, if people would realize government is the single biggest divisive force out of everything, because the reality is if everybody got along without the division of us versus them, Democrats versus Republicans, rights versus left, if not for that, everybody would realize, wait a second, we're losing our fucking money and we're getting shit in return, and government would cease to exist. But how does government still exist? It creates an us versus them scenario.
Yeah.
And that's one thing it does, and it also cons people into believing that it's needed and all that shit.
Exactly. Right. Well, that's because it starts with the us versus them. The us versus them is a con to get us to believe that they're needed. It starts with like Nazi Germany versus England.
Well, there's
or the Jews.
Cons. There's also several other things that it requires as well. But yeah. There's it requires brainwashing. That's what the Prussian model school is for. And then whatever. Again, like people like all bow down and suck their dick up to the state and all that stuff, and they get so used to it and everything gets so like.
It becomes a standard.
What happens is again like that people begin to like get so used to it that they begin to they can't imagine a world without it, or they can't imagine a world
becomes a teat.
Let me fucking finish. Anyway, they can't imagine a world without it. They can't imagine a world without it, and having personal responsibility and all that stuff. They just can't imagine themselves fully working out all this stuff or whatever and all that. They lose their imagination to the state essentially to a certain extent. But.
Yep.
All right. The moment you rely on something from the state is the moment you're now their slave.
Well, it's like being like imagine there's certain this happens to animals and humans actually. Well, we are animals, but we're just far more intelligent than most. Or all actually, pretty much. But it's like again, imagine like a dog who has been in like a crate or a cage for so long. Again, like that's what happened to these people. It's like or real life people actually when they've been in prison so long, they become institutionalized and they can't imagine anything else they can't imagine life being outside of prison or whatever, and they go right back into their cage or something like that. Their mind is so fucked. That's what I view what's happening with people when I argue with my parents and all that stuff. They just can't imagine being outside of that cage. They just can't imagine it.
Honestly, I know exactly what you're talking about right there. I've met a couple of people when I lived in Maryland. They had just gotten out of prison, and they came out at the same time. So they got dropped off at a fucking McDonald's off base, and they didn't know what to do. I remember them worrying about it. They didn't know what to do. They tried to make it, and for 3 weeks, they figured, fuck it. They decided to break the law in front of a cop intentionally and got rearrested just to go back into prison.
I have cousins like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, they get for human, like, yeah, even humans get institutionalized. Yeah, they whatever. Yeah, that's what's happened, I think, to my parents and all that stuff. It's like and I think that's what happened to your friend right there. He got institutionalized right there, right nail and center, I think, Malum. He just can't imagine a world without the state and all that, and then thinks increasing his power is going to make his life better.
I'm back.
Fuck, did you just miss everything I fucking said?
Yep, it was wonderful silence. I enjoyed it.
No, fuck me. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I think that's what's happened to like all these people. That's what happened to your friend right there, Malum. I think he's become so like reliant on the state, or he's become like so used to it that what's happened is that he's like, again, like he just can't imagine going out of that cage. And then when like again, to make himself feel more secure, he wants the cage smaller.
You're talking about my friend from Walmart? No, actually he lives out in the country area. He's pretty self-sufficient. No, the problem is his mind is gone socialist.
Yeah, exactly. His mind, yeah, frig. Again, his mind has become used to government. It has nothing to do. I'm not talking about like a visible, like literal cage. I'm talking about like, again, like how much how much people are used to the state being there and all that stuff. Again, it has to do with the mind, not like a literal cage, but. Again, I'm just saying, like, again, it's similar to how, like, again, like, where he views the government as, like how it makes every life for him good and all that stuff. He just wants more and more of it, is what happens.
See, that's the thing. The government doesn't give him shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he believes it's necessary, and what my friend falls into is the right wingers are hate speechers, and that we need to protect the blacks, we need to protect the minorities. And what he doesn't realize, what's the greatest minority here in the United States out of all the minorities being taken care of? It's my fucking tribes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the second part of it. What happens is that what government does is that it creates this like this false reliance to it or something like that. Again, the institutionalized thing. And then the second part is what they do is they create a false dichotomy, or they create this internal war and all that stuff to distract you from the whole.
Yuri Bezmenov, the guy I've been talking about. He's basically everything we're talking about now. He's already iterated in that interview. It's the second interview, by the way, Corey. I sent you 2 of them. The first one was the wrong one, but it's something else that'll be useful.
I'll probably watch it in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah, they're pretty long. You're talking about 4 hours of your time, probably. So,
by the way, want to know how effective the brainwashing is? I am drunk as fuck, and I am out thinking a lot of these people. Fuck, that's how effective the brainwashing is. Just think about that for a second.
Yep. Well, anyway, here's the thing. Here's the thing about what you just said. This is perfect. A perfect way to get into it. Yuri Bezmenov said that the purpose of this ideological subversion is to get people so twisted, logically and reasonably twisted, that you can give them facts that are along the lines of 1 + 1 = 2. And they are so twisted that they can't even if you give them these facts, they cannot reason behind it. They are 100% ruled by emotion, nothing more. Yeah, and exactly. For that reason, up until they will not praise anything except socialism and government until the jackboots are on their necks. And even then, they might not.
Oh yeah, because that's actually still happening in Cuba today. Like a lot of people absolutely fucking hate their government, but there's some people still there today, still fucking in Cuba today since Fidel Castro and all that stuff and all the murders and all that. They still fucking like it and all that.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, you're always going to get people like that. Well, that's because people can be programmed. The problem is that if you're not taught how to think for yourself and you maintain that ability to think for yourself, you're never going to stop thinking. You're never going to start thinking for yourself, or you're going to lose your ability to think for yourself. So the mind is the most important gift you can ever have. If you're not taught the ability to think for yourself, you don't have a mind. Sometimes people are able to break out of it, and it usually requires a significant traumatic incident, like in my case when I went through my mental breakdown, for them to start paying attention to what the hell's going on around them.
Same here. It took me like whatever a whole hell of a lot of pain for me to figure out, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't told you guys this, but I told another group before I became an ANCAP, I was a socialist.
You and I both, brother.
Yeah.
You and I both.
I was a straight up fucking communist. I was a straight up fucking communist, and then I would turn it. Well, then yet again, later on, I was a conservative, and then, during the time I was tired. Well, I actually shouldn't mention this, but whatever. During let's just say my worst years, I started seeing Mr. Dapperton's channel and all that. I was a new whatever. Now I've moved on from that, and I've read books and everything.
Back.
What made me become an ANCAP was really just me stepping out from that socialist echo chamber I was in and just actually listening to the other side's ideals and rhetoric and actually understanding what they're saying.
And you see that you're lucky you actually had the inquisitiveness to do that.
Yeah.
Most people don't. And that's the thing. They would listen, but they wouldn't hear.
Because I got
hear, but not listen. Yeah.
I got that idea was because it's just I had an epiphany essentially when I was listening to a speech because I was a part of this black socialist group, and they were talking about how it was capitalism that hurt the black man, this and that. And I was thinking, I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't hear about any businesses actually telling government, hey, yeah, let's just segregate black people, because if you think about it, that's just money they lose. And I've read different accounts of businesses breaking the Jim Crow laws, hiring black people or letting black people in, and just essentially not caring what the government says. I'm like, that doesn't
exactly. And who were the ones writing the Jim Crow laws?
It was a bunch of old government officials, just like, hey, let's not help the black man.
Well, Democrats, to be specific.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely.
Well,
especially after they fell under the progressivist views.
But yet again, I would not be surprised if the Republicans did the exact same thing. But yet again,
they do on occasion. Some Republicans help bring in the welfare.
I don't really both sides are fucked up, honestly. But
because if you like read some accounts from Abraham Lincoln when he talked about black people, he really just wanted to ship all the black people to South America.
Well, no, he friggin' said that if he was able to end this whole war without freeing a single slave, he would do it or something like that. He said,
it was all.
And all it was about
the brainwashed my parents are. Whenever I show legitimate quotes to them and all that stuff that are completely written down and documented, they fucking still don't believe it or whatever.
That's part of the brainwashing thing that Yuri Bezmenov will go over when you guys get into that. Not only that, like in the case of Abraham Lincoln, Lincoln, everybody loves to cherish him because he freed the slaves and shit like that, and because he was a Republican. Keep in mind, he was a Republican. He helped bring in increased power to the federal government. The Articles of going back on history in this little bit here, the Articles of Confederation, which we first operated on before we switched to the Constitution, it was the states had held the majority of power. The federal government had minimal power, like almost non-existent. It was basically they're like a night watchman state. Well, the states decided they became increasingly tyrannical, and it got to the point where it was out of hand. So the founding fathers got back into power, rewrote the entire Constitution. And what they ended up doing, or rewrote the entire system, they ended up instating the Constitution, which granted the federal government, the central power, more control to the point where they had equal power to that of the United States. And the reason for this was because even at our 50 state level, or even at not 50 state level, but let's say if we were back at the Article of Confederation, each state is so fucking tyrannical in its own right that it was pretty damn terrible across the whole board. Like, I wouldn't want to know what New York and California would be like, or Massachusetts.
It would be crazy.
Yeah, 100% gun ban. You know it.
It would just go. I imagine it would just go full on communism at this fucking point, or they're trying to attempt it again, or whatever. Like, or whatever. Oh, Marx had a couple of great ideas, but Whatever, you know, Marx.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we moved on to the Constitution. Well, after the Constitution, during the Civil War, during the U.S. Civil War, Abraham Lincoln and the Republican Party wanted to increase the central power of the federal government, and they succeeded with the winning. The Confederates were basically, they wanted to maintain state power or reduce federal power. And as a result, the reason why they took up the name Confederates was in honor of the name Article of Confederation. Anyway, the slaves, the slave ideology. You had slave owners in the North, slave owners in the South. You had abolitionists.
Abolitionists, I guess he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, General Lee, he was the one who friggin' did not like slavery. I don't think he even liked slavery. He just didn't. He just thought that what was it again? It wasn't in his position to do it. He thought, or whatever.
He fought because it was his state. Okay. That was part of the South. He fought to protect his state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goddamn.
Saying about the abolitionists.
Yeah, General Lee. Yeah, he was one of the abolitionists, I think, or he believed in it, and he wanted to do it as well, or whatever. I think he made a quote saying that he would he would free every single slave or something like that, whatever, to prevent the war or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said.
I agree. It is documented somewhere that I've seen that Lee wanted a war. He did not want a war. He just wanted to end any sort of fighting.
Yep.
Yeah, he never wanted a war.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
He never wanted a war because he saw all those young. Yeah, as he stated, he didn't want all those young men getting killed and all that stuff or whatever.
Yep.
But of course, that's not what the Abraham Lincoln wanted. Friggin' hell, I think he even banned freedom of speech in certain states as well.
He went full. He exercised the full power of his presidential capabilities with martial law. He went all out. He was suspended numerous rights.
Habeas purpose.
Yep, everything. He suspended. I think he suspended the Bill of Rights as a whole. So,
yeah, under him, a lot of Southerners who spoke out against the North were put into prison. They were beaten, tortured, put into camps, and made to work.
Yep. Well, I haven't seen that one, so I might need citation for that, but I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, well, he straight up banned freedom of speech right there. Like, why not just go the extra fucking mile as far as he was concerned? Fuck.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Everybody recognizes Abraham Lincoln as the guy who freed the slaves. The reality is he didn't give two shits about it. It was about increasing the power of the federal government. Yep. After that, later on, further down the road, what did we see? The Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, even if we try to go back to a night watchman state, what's going to happen? We're going to go right back to where we are fucking today. So the only option is anarchism or statism. Huh?
No matter what you do, the state will always try to expand itself, and no matter what category. That's the nature of it. Again,
exactly.
I'm going to send a link.
As Esso pointed out, it has a natural incentive to expand like any other corporation or whatever.
Yep. And what's going to happen is going to sell our freedom.
It can either happen really fast, like what happened with Nazi Germany, or it can happen really slowly, like what we're seeing today.
Well, I think it's funny how you mentioned that, because even Hitler stated that the best way to take freedoms is piece by piece, slow enough so that nobody ever sees it disappearing until one day they wake up and they can't do anything about it.
Well, yet again, Hitler was, he was a somewhat cunning individual. He was not that bad, but yeah, he was smart enough to essentially pull the rug out of under the German people and all that.
Yeah.
And
he did it successfully.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he did and all that. Like, yeah, he completely ignored funny enough, the Weimar Republic was based off of what America has today or something like that.
The Weimar Republic is a cross between the Treaty of Versailles and the United States bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about
the tariffs that Humphrey Hubert, or was it Humphrey Hubert?
Herbert Hoover.
No, Hoover. Yeah.
Hoover. Yeah. Herbert Hoover. Yeah. I think.
Yep. So, yeah, because of the tariffs with, so Germany was already financially in issues, and the French were just nasty. Like, basically, the French were doing to the Germans after World War I what the Germans were practically doing to the Jews before they decided to lock them up in camps. The French soldiers would routinely go into the Ruhr and the Rhinelands and just rape German women. They would just beat the shit out of men, kill sons, whatever. Take supplies without writing it down, meaning that the Germany, this was against the Treaty of Versailles, by the way. This is the reason why Germany hated the Treaty of Versailles. Besides the fact that they didn't think they technically should have lost. But yeah, the French basically, they did a bunch of atrocities to the Germans, and basically stealing more. I think they stole about.
Got there, dude.
They just fell. Whatever.
One of the presidents I have to say is Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, whatever. And anyway, what I was saying is that the German Germany, Weimar Republic Germany was a direct similar copy of the US's constitution and all that. And guess what they said? Oh, we're never going to come be tyrannical. That's impossible. Guess what fucking happened as soon as Hitler went in? He just basically essentially did the political equivalent of taking his shit on the Germany constitution. Frig.
Like that, Hitler's rise to power has to be something that has to be like one of the easiest takeovers of a government in history.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Anyway,
he just knew. He just knew what buttons to fucking press. That's what he knew.
Yeah, because it was.
Well, even then, he failed almost. He failed 3 times, and here's why. It was because of the It was because of the French, what they did to Germany. It was because of the United States with Herbert Hoover with his tariffs that brought the Great Depression to the rest of the world after World War I, and it was because of the Weimar Republic. Those 3 factors, plus all the stuff that the communist Jews were doing. The people that got exiled from Russia and later on Poland. So what happened was during the Weimar Republic's hyperinflation, they were just printing out money. It was being used as toilet paper and fuel for wood stoves, because it was so worthless. So what ended up happening is there were 3 periods in which the economy of Weimar Republic was starting to stabilize, and during those periods, when the economy was stabilizing, Hitler was looked at like a fucking moron. Like everybody looked at him the way we would look at him today, or probably look at the way we look at Hillary Clinton. No, seriously, the way everybody looks at Hillary Clinton is the way everybody looked at is probably the best description we can give towards how everybody looked at Hitler. And I think that's actually a good comparison between those two as well.
And a very accurate
anyway, yeah, very accurate. Anyway, so the point that I'm trying to make is that there were 3 periods of stability in which the Nazi Party, Hitler and the Nazi Party, did not look like a viable option. In fact, they were looked down on. And then during the periods afterwards, they became more popular. Then they would have a good period where the economy would stabilize. But then, of course, again, the Weimar Republic would print more bills, and it would destabilize the economy as a result of another round of hyperinflation, and Hitler would look decent. Well, anyway, after the 3rd time, the Weimar Republic set themselves up with another bout of hyperinflation, and Nazi Germany came into power. The Nazi Party came into power. So the Weimar Republic combined with the United States, starting with the Treaty of Versailles and the French actions against Germany, as well as the greater level of theft and crimes of humanity that the French did to the Germans, followed by the Herbert Hoover
Herbert Hoover's tariffs that brought the Great Depression into the rest of the world set Germany up, and then set Germany up to the financial crisis it was in. And then the Weimar Republic, being economically retarded, continued to fuck things up. And that all set things in the path for Germany. And then of course you had the communists doing all their bullshit. It was just people were so desperate at that time. Germany and the atrocities from the communists were so great that they decided let's go for the Nazis. I'm pretty sure America, even all the Republicans and everybody else, if things got bad enough, they'd elect Hillary in office.
Well, gotta go.
Hillary doesn't matter.
Something at work has come up.
Good night, bro.
See ya, Prem.
Yep,
Bye.
Prem.
So,
I think it's a good time to end the stream here. I was just thinking that
government's bad, we know.
Mondays and Wednesday nights, since it's a thick book.
I won't be able to do Wednesday nights because I work at my other job and I'm still doing stuff for them. But Monday nights I can be here.
Yeah, you could always do like catch up for like Wednesday nights.
Yep, and Monday days I'll get fucked. I'll get trashed.
Same here.
And start washing water. I still can't believe I said that. Are you sure you're not just fucking with me?
No, you seriously said that.
He actually said that when drunk.
Hey, Mal.
Why do you work for the government?
Alrighty, I'm back.
Because only the government can defy the laws of physics.
Only government can wash water.
Hey, Mal.
Well, thank you to everyone who arrived.
Yeah.
Atlas,
Yep.
Corey,
I'm getting all those
Over and over again on my part.
Hey, no
Mel,
problem, Kitty.
Coy and Revan. Sorry, Gabe, about what happened earlier.
Yeah, I'll be trying to add you onto my Twitter, by the way. I saw your message if you get this. So
Yeah.
Oh, come on, really? Rick.
doesn't matter. But
Everyone
anyway,
on Twitter.
So, Corey, did you have a great time? I could tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. It was fun. I like interacting with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yep, niggerish.
So,
niggerish to meet you, Corey. Thank you very much. I'm shaking your hand very rapidly right now, and I'm really hyper now because I have caffeine and alcohol at once. I'm moving around and pacing everywhere. Thank you very much.
Bet you won't chug six shots of espresso right now.
yeah, so
it's 6 shots of espresso right now. Deal. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Dude, why'd you give him ideas?
you're welcome back anytime.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely when I got time, I'll definitely be back on.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I want another beer.
I think it's time you slow down somewhere, please.
Hey Revan. There's a place outside your house. Go run free.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm fucking doing it. I'm fucking doing it. I'm literally fucking doing it right now. I'm running around outside of my fucking underwear.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't mean streak, jackass.
I'm in my underwear.
And on that note, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Elvis has left the building.
I'm not freaking streaking, you idiot. Whatever. Streaking would be me being bare ass naked and doing it, but all right.
You won't.
Yep, I'm thinking the same.
Yeah, so
But
all right.
I want another beer.
Slow down.
Thanks to everyone who came in the call, and as well as those who stayed in the long enough for the live chat. To YouTube being Jaguar. He says, "Night, y'all. Well, thanks for modding again, YouTube and Jaguar. Glad to have you."
I'm hopping
Yep.
like a bunny rabbit.
Take care, man.
And Pipsqueak, thank you. Even though you arrived late, but thank you.
I am hopping like a rabbit.
All right, guys.
Good night, everyone.
He's got a bunny persona. Good night.